Joe.
OK.
You see when I made that entry about the rent collector bitten by a dog in Henshaw Street?
Yeah.
I think the problem is that it's not actually a Henshaw Street dog.
Oh?
I think it comes down those back entries from Thomas Street.
That's where I get done, Sarge. Henshaw Street near Thomas Street.
Done?
Got attacked by this dog.
Oh, that was you, was it?
Had a 6-inch tear up my trousers.
When was that?
About 3 nights ago.
What did it look like?
Well, it was very dark, wasn't it?
The dog?
The night. Well, the dog came out of an alley in Wallop. I never saw it.
Counting the rent collector, that makes 6 attacks in 3 weeks.
In the old days, the man on the beat knew every dog in his area instantly.
It's true, he did.
I'm doing the best I can down there, giving the numbers.
If it's a quiet night, I'll draft in reinforcements. Have you notified the RSPCA?
Well, that's a problem. I can't get him.
We'll chase it. Won't we, Gallagher?
Yes, Sarge.
I know I've said this 6 or 7 times, but it's a great thrill for me, is this.
Well, I hope it'll be one for me, Councillor.
Inspector Darbley's kindly consented to be the guest of honour at the Chapel Youth Club football team's annual hot pot supper.
Oh, very nice.
Can I use your, can I wash my hands?
Upstairs, second on the left, sir.
Thank you. Excuse me.
Evening, George, just off.
Yes, Ma'am.
I think Councillor Winterbottom has been celebrating.
I thought he must have.
Well, it would be.
Ah, that's true, he would.
Speaking of a small celebration, Ma'am, Joe and I are going to have a drink tonight with old Hooker Wainwright.
Who?
Hooker Wainwright.
We thought you might drop in if you were free.
Who's Hooker Wainwright?
He's the landlord of the Swan Inn at Top Browman.
Oh, him.
He's semi-retiring at the end of the week, opening a guest house on the Cumbrian coast.
Why is he called Hooker?
That's where he played.
Who for?
Hunslet.
Ah, yes, sorry, should have known.
Before your time, man.
He's been a very good informant over the years, Mum. He deserves a bit of a send-off. The CID lads have bought him a fountain pen.
Unfortunately, I'm busy tonight. I'm presenting the prizes at Moortop School.
Oh, heck, I forgot that.
So did I.
I tell you what, if I get through in time, I'll telephone the Swan Inn, and if you're still in there, I'll drop by and shake Mr. Wainwright's hand.
Very much appreciated, Mum.
Otherwise, give him my warmest wishes.
Thank you, Mum. We will. See you, Joe.
Ah, see you.
Mum?
Well, hot pot supper. You'll soon have a speaking engagement every night of the week, man.
I will. I have to get tired of my own jokes.
Ah, heck. That feels better. Afraid I had a few pints at the town hall. Bottles, actually. The janitor can usually be relied upon.
Speaking of the town hall, sir, I understand we have to congratulate you.
Well, it's another milestone, Sergeant. What more can I say? Aye. Oh, aye. We've both seen the passage of time and so on and so forth. But I don't forget my mother saw me off the first day I went to work. 14 I was, and it was pissing with rain. Oh, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon.
Not at all.
I was sweeper up at Pharaoh's Mill. Me and 2 Ukrainians, with only one good broom between us. And now look at me. Got my own thriving business, and I've just become Deputy Mayor-elect of Hartley. And if my mother could see that, well, I think you'd know how she'd respond, don't you?
I think I do.
I know you do. My mother gave me life's treasury. That's why I'm linesman for the youth club football team, to give a bit back to the boys that need it. That's why I say a little prayer at all sorts of odd moments of the day, like in the showroom or stopped at the traffic lights or what have you. I said one last week in the gentleman's cloakroom of the steakhouse. You know the one I mean, don't you?
Manchester Road?
Aye.
Aye.
I suppose new honours inevitably bring more work.
They do. Of course they do. But some things have to remain sacred. Tonight, for instance, is my billiards night.
Billiards?
I actually play at the Liberal Club.
You're a Conservative.
Well, it's all snooker there. At the Liberal Club, there's still a few diehards.
Is that a fact?
Not that there's any imposition of political views, because there isn't. We have an unspoken rule not to discuss matters of conscience.
I expect that Mrs. Winterbottom's thrilled to be Deputy Mayoress-elect.
Thrilled. She's in her 7th heaven. She's just gone to Manchester to celebrate.
Manchester?
Aye. Buy some new clothes and that.
Ah,
That's what you ladies warm to, isn't it?
I suppose it can be.
Aye. Oh, aye. She has wonderful taste, my wife. I'll say thank you and bid you good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Councillor.
Afternoon, sir.
Oh, would you like an invitation to the hot pot supper?
Well, if I'm off duty, thank you very much.
Leave it with me. And in the meantime, thank you for your congratulations. Thank you.
What are you staring at, David?
Sorry, Mum, I was just observing the councillor. I can't get the RSPCA, man.
Why not?
His wife says he's gone in some study course.
What topic?
I think she said the control of foxes in an urban environment.
Foxes?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I believe they take things from dustbins. Oh, thank you, Gavin.
Since you know so much, Joseph, what was Councillor Winterbottom's mother like?
Oh, a very upright little woman.
His father?
A scrounger, no use at all. They lived in a very poor way in a labourer's cottage.
I can imagine. So now we have the Deputy Mayoress-elect buying clothes in Manchester.
Gorgeous. I don't think I can keep my hands off you.
You said you wouldn't come in till I cried ready.
I can't wait.
You promised.
I know I did. Fantastic.
The saleswoman said, "Oh, madam," she said, "what a wonderful body you've got."
She never.
She did.
By heck.
Are you hot under the collar?
Don't ask.
Oh, it's like a big warm wave, isn't it, this passion that sweeps you and me along?
Sometimes, quite often, actually, I find myself talking to perfectly respectable people in the showroom, and then I think, gorgeous, I think. And in my mind, I see you with not many clothes on.
Oh, Jack, what a miracle that of all the hundreds of millions of bodies in the world, yours and mine should have come together.
Well, not hundreds of millions in Hartley.
What do you think? Is this what I should wear?
In the mayor's parlour.
Tonight, Jack. Tonight.
Oh, no. I've forgotten about tonight. No, don't wear that tonight. It's an horrible nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, don't torture yourself.
I can't help it. It's like a fiendish crime. It's like a body rotting in the cellar.
Oh, Jack, how you must love me.
For a few happy hours. No, not even hours. Moments. Just glimpses of snatched happiness. Those few happy moments, I forget. And I'm radiant. And people look at me, customers in the showroom, members of the public in a council meeting, and they think, there's Jack Winterbottom, happy and successful. Little do they know about my secret nightmare, my torment. That poisonous shadow in our lives, gorgeous, that won't let either of us rest.
I feel like, what's the name in that book by Harold Robbins?
Eh?
But it is worth it, though, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, Jack, what's life without red-hot passion?
Shall we just say a prayer? Oh, Lord, I know I've spoken to you earlier today about that Pakistani woman's hire purchase agreement, but this is much more serious. I want Gorgeous kept safe. Please look after her. Keep her safe. Thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Frankly, why must you go and see him?
You know why.
He's a swine.
Of course he's a swine.
Will he take money?
He wouldn't before, would he?
I should go with you. Find out how much.
There'd be violence, that's all there'd be. Besides, I don't think it's money he wants. I think it's me.
What's your game then, eh?
Eh?
Don't start that.
I've not said
Who
nothing.
paid for your clothes, gorgeous?
Who do you think?
I trusted you.
Didn't I trust you?
I'll smash your face in!
Go on then.
I get these headaches, gorgeous.
What do you want, Crescio?
What do I want?
Whatever there was between you and me, Crescio. I live like a queen in Jack's bungalow.
Got the crown jewels, have you?
Don't stare at my legs like that.
Why not?
Make me feel misty.
Is that what you want, eh? Is it?
It's like that old Barbara Stanwyck film, isn't it?
Hey?
Don't say "hey," you stupid devil.
Don't shout at me!
You know perfectly well what film I'm talking about.
I get these headaches.
How much? 1,000? 2,000?
I believed you.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You looked dreadful, do you know that?
I read it in the paper. Mrs. Winterbottom, Deputy Mayoress-elect. I was nearly sick with laughing. Do you know what I mean, dear? Hey? I dreamed about you. Every night in Strangeways Prison, I dreamed about you.
How much?
Well, how much did I dream?
How much money do you want?
You said to me... No. You held me in your arms and you said to me, wild horses, you said. Wild horses won't drag us apart. Well, here they are. Wild horses. Running through this factory. Have you any cash?
No.
Well, come on.
He wouldn't let me bring any.
I've no cigarettes.
He never did have.
Hey, do I really make you go all misty?
Don't you believe me?
I've no cigarettes, gorgeous.
Why won't you tell me what you want?
I said my head aches. I need a smoke.
You know what I want, Crescio?
I won't give it you. Why should I?
Should I go down on my knees then? Is that it?
Hey?
Well, is it like Barbara Stanwyck or not?
Look, I need a cigarette, gorgeous, not a pack of hopeless lies.
Where are you living?
What's it to you?
Who's looking after you? Nobody, I can see that.
Just find me a cigarette!
I haven't got one! Go on then. And some in the glove pocket. What is it you want?
It's what I can't have.
How do you know if you haven't asked? Then if you don't want anything, leave me alone.
No.
Why not?
You know why not?
I know that you're hypnotic, like all evil people.
Oh, shut up, will you?
Why won't you tell me what you want?
Leave me alone!
You told me to come here.
I dreamed about you.
It's the effect I have on them, isn't it? I drive men mad. You do, gorgeous. Can't help it, though. I know you can't. It's just something they see that overwhelms them. Crescio? Crescio! What are you doing? Crescio! Coward. You rotten coward! Oh.
Sure you won't have a proper one? Officially, this is my tea break.
How much do we owe you, hooker?
On the house.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good health. But I miss you too, you know.
We'll miss you.
I think you might.
Well, we'll sit down, hooker. Let you get on with things.
What's yours, Mrs. Webster?
Outdoors?
For God save us. Mrs. Webster, you should be spending your money on death aid batteries, not on drink.
Hey,
What's yours?
I'll have my usual.
Right.
Money's tight, did you say?
What, love?
Money is tight, is that what you said?
Mrs. Webster, come on, you're not as deaf as that. 36.
Hey,
40 pence change.
they're not going to have much of a holiday, are they, if you shout like that in a boarding house?
Well, if it's not my old pal Hooker Wainwright,
What do you want?
don't start on me. Got it?
Can I serve you with a drink, sir?
Double whiskey.
£90.
Hey?
80p.
Oh, I've left my money at home.
Look, Crasho, don't let's have a bad time, eh?
Can I put it on tick?
I'm leaving at the end of the week.
You know.
Yes, I am.
Well, I'll bring it in tomorrow then.
Where are you living?
Lodging house.
You working?
Don't be daft.
How long you been out of strange ways?
Some say it was you put me in there.
Well, you know better than that.
Do I?
Yes, you do.
How come?
Because if you remember, Crasho, when you was nicked, I was on me holidays in Majorca.
Could have told him anywhere.
How?
Telephone.
From Majorca? About you?
You could have told him before you went.
Look, Crasho, you smashed an old lady's face, right?
Right.
Right. And when was you nicked?
Next day.
Right. So work it out for yourself. And I still need 90p.
Can't you just give it me? Old time's sake.
Old times with you was very bad.
Don't you trust me?
No.
In that case, I'll tell you what.
What?
I'll pay for it with this.
I don't want a clapped-out jacket. I've got several.
Hang on to it till I bring the money.
Look, Crasho, sitting over there...
I don't care who's sitting over there. What do you mean when you said work it out who shocked me?
Nothing. You've had your drink. Call it a farewell on the house. And clear out.
Give us another on the jacket. Oh, give us two.
No.
Why are you leaving anyway?
Semi-retirement. The wife's health.
I hope she chokes on it.
Just see that he does leave, would you, Sam?
Flipping heck!
Evening.
Everything all right?
Lovely.
Mrs. Winterbottom, isn't it?
No?
We met at the mayor's reception.
Pardon? I'm just out for a stroll.
In those shoes?
As a matter of fact, I'm posting a letter.
Where is it?
Okay.
The letter. Don't you think you'd better get in?
Thank you.
Have you nothing to tell me?
Nothing?
I'm taking you to Hartley Police Station.
Why?
Why do you think?
I can't tell you anything. I can't. It's about my husband and a man who isn't my husband. It's a woman's secret. Do you know what I mean?
Of course I do. But have a think about it. I'll ask you again when we get to my office.
Hold it still. Find a seat.
Yeah, it's a brown Mercedes saloon. Registration Oscar Juliet Papa.
Are you sure it was Crasho, Harris?
Of course I'm sure. Did you know him?
No, I'm only temporary.
But you saw him throw the grid.
Not actually throw it, no.
Why not?
I shut my eyes.
When did you open them again?
When he was getting into the passenger seat.
And then the car moved off?
Aye.
So there was another man driving?
Well, there must have been.
Did you get a glimpse of him?
No. Well, I'd only just opened my eyes, do you know what I mean?
I'm beginning to. Thank you. How was Crashaw?
Like I said, I grove from the start.
Did he have a grudge against you?
He thought he had.
You mean you shocked him?
He said so. But actually, I hadn't.
Honest?
Honest.
That wouldn't stop Crashaw, though, would it? He's always been as daft as a brush. Who might the driver be?
McCluskey, Johnson, any of that lot.
Ah, we'll check him out. Did you ask Crashaw where he was living?
Lodging house.
Sounds about right.
He had a wife, you know.
What happened to her?
Don't know.
If it wasn't you that shocked him, who did?
No. That's up to him to work out for himself, isn't it?
Joe,
Hello.
just trace the car. It's obviously stolen.
Smashing.
If I might say so, young Jack, your game's not as crisp as it has been.
When you get to my position, Mr. Long, it's one long round of people coming to you with their problems.
Ah, it must be. Wife keeping well, is she?
Champion.
I'm sure she is. So real live romance was that, wasn't it?
Hey?
When you went to Cleveland's for your holidays, you met her, you came back married.
Oh, aye. Suppose it was a bit of a fairy tale.
There was a lot of us here thought you were one of nature's bachelors. I'm sorry.
Councillor Winterbottom?
Oh, no, not again.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, blast it.
Evening, Mr. Long.
I was just saying to the councillor, Sergeant, that his life's a true romance. And in you walked.
Yeah. Well, I won't keep you, gentlemen. It's just a routine inquiry. Councillor, you are the owner of a Mercedes motor car number OJP762W.
It's a company car, actually.
Jack Winterbottom Sales Limited.
Correct. My wife's taking it tonight to go and visit her auntie. Why?
You mean your wife has the car tonight?
Yes?
Is she alone?
Well, she was when she dropped me here.
Are you expecting her to pick you up later?
I hope so.
What time?
Well, since Mr. Long retired, he needs more sleep, don't you? What time will we finish? 10?
Well, thereabouts.
What is it, Sergeant? Towed away, forgotten our road tax?
Good shot.
It's not an accident, is it? It is, isn't it? Well, go on, has she crashed the car? Is it something worse?
Worse? What do you mean?
Just tell me.
I've no information about your wife, Councillor.
Then what? Who?
Should I play this next shot or what?
Play it. Oh, just say it. Say what it is.
Do you know the Swan Inn at Top Brow?
Swan, Top Brow. Of course I know it. I don't go there, but I know it.
What would you say if I told you that half an hour ago your car was seen outside the Swan, where it was used as a getaway by a man who committed an offence?
Getaway? Offence?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'd be flabbergasted. I don't know what I'd say.
It's been stolen.
It looks like it.
Looks like it.
There was one man who committed the offence and another who drove him away.
Wait a minute. What offence?
He threw a grid through the public house window.
By heck.
What for?
He's a tearaway called Crashaw Harris.
Eh?
You don't know him, do you?
Me?
His name's Harris.
How would I know a man like that? I'm deputy mayor-elect. I'm respectable. It can't be my car.
Why not?
Well, you must have made a mistake with the numbers.
We might have.
There you are, then.
I'm having all similar numbers fed into the computer. In the meantime, where does your wife's auntie live?
Oldham.
Is she on the telephone?
What?
If you ask me, that's where your car went from.
They'd have known.
No, not necessarily. What's the phone number?
I can't remember.
What's the name and address, then?
That's what I've always dreaded, is this. A black monster that comes out of the slime and takes away everything I've worked for.
Come on, Jack, there can be umpteen explanations. Play your shot.
Aye. Oh, aye. You see, my luck's gone.
If you can just let me have that name and address, sir.
You think she's the second man, don't you?
Hey?
Mrs. Winterbottom, you think she's the second man?
I'm sure there's no cause for alarm,
No
Counsel.
cause. No. It's the uncertainty, isn't it? That's where the agony is.
Jack, drink your whiskey.
Aye.
I'm sorry to persist, sir, but if you can give me that name and address, I can establish your wife's safety.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, Councillor. I can understand your distress.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
Why not?
It doesn't exist. No auntie, no address.
I'm not quite with you.
Now, Sergeant, I'll be quite prepared to explain all this tomorrow morning in the presence of my solicitor. Now, Mr. Long, it's my shot, is it? Oh, no, it's yours.
Perhaps we'd better spot the balls up and finish it later. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I like it here, you know. I like the light on the table. Makes me feel happy and safe. It's like a happy home for men, isn't it?
Aye.
A place without women.
In the meantime, sir, I think that we've still things to talk about. It's very private down the police station. Will you come with me?
Thank you.
Pleasure. I love roses.
Have you ever been given dozens?
What?
You know, dozens and dozens brought in by page boys.
Make it sound like the movies.
Well, that's where such things are done properly, isn't it?
Would you like me to order you a taxi?
You mean I can go?
Park Road, isn't it?
Eh?
Look, can we stop this pretense, Mrs. Winterbottom?
You are?
You're not undistinguished in this town, you know.
I say, is that true?
Even the young constable at the desk recognised you.
Lovely.
He also showed me the duty book.
What's that?
It has all the crimes and calls written in it.
Oh.
A man named Harris committed an offence at a public house and then drove off in your husband's car.
I think you should put an aspirin in that water.
I've heard of that, but never done it.
It keeps the bloom, so they say.
When we checked the vehicle number with your husband, he said that you had the car tonight and that you'd gone to see your auntie in Oldham.
Where is he?
Who?
My Jack.
I met him this afternoon.
I know he said so.
Those are clothes you bought in Manchester.
Some of them.
He's a kind man, isn't he? Councillor Winterbottom, underneath all that bluster.
Yes.
There.
Who gave you them?
Some children at Moortop School. Did you see your auntie in Oldham?
I didn't get that far, did I?
You mean Harris flagged you down and stole the car? Who was the other man?
Other man.
When the car left the public house, Harris jumped in and another man drove off.
Don't believe you.
It's true.
You mean he deliberately ran off and left me so I'd...
So you did see Harris tonight?
That's not what I said.
If he stole your car, why protect him? Do you know him well?
Do you do lie detector tests?
What?
Nothing.
Why didn't you report the car as having been stolen?
Who to?
Me, when I picked you up.
Can't think why you stopped.
Well, you weren't exactly dressed for hiking. Does your Auntie Nodum exist?
I don't know.
You mean she doesn't? You went to a meeting with Harris, didn't you?
It was all in my horoscope.
Why did you meet him?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
Have you ever lived in a filthy place with cockroaches?
No, but what if I had?
Where's my Jack? Where's my sugar daddy?
Ask Sergeant Beck to bring the gentleman in here, will you? He's just coming. He was in the interview room.
Oh, you deceitful hussy!
I'll ignore that. Come in!
Jack?
Gorgeous. What's happened? Your mascara's in ruins.
Nothing's happened.
Have they tortured you?
You look like Fred McMurray.
Good evening, Councillor. This is your wife, I take it?
Yes.
No.
Hey?
What?
No. That's it, you see. I'm not gorgeous Winterbottom at all. I'm gorgeous Harris.
Oh, my God.
Would you like a chair, Councillor?
Is this true?
Yes.
You mean she's Mrs. Harris?
Yes.
You've not by any chance gone through some form of marriage ceremony with her, have you, sir?
No. But in the eyes of God, I truly do believe that we are man and wife.
Oh, Jack. It's like poetry.
There you are, you see. There you are. After my mother died, my life was a desert until this rose bloomed in it. We met in the chapel, actually, where I'd gone to measure up for a new draft excluder. She'd followed me in, hadn't you?
Yes.
Seen me as I parked my car.
It was that little BMW, do you remember?
Remember? We drove like wild horses over the moors. And you spilled everything out, didn't you?
Everything.
How your husband was a washout and sent to jail. Your life was in ruins. We melted. Two eyes lollies. Love at first sight.
Yes.
I sent her to Cleveley's because I was going to spend my holidays there. When we came back together, we said we got married. I mean, a man in my position can't live in open sin, can he?
Plenty do.
I can't because I'm honest.
That's what I meant when I said it was doomed.
It was. It was doomed. All this is in the strictest confidence, of course.
How long ago did you go to Cleveley's?
3 years.
Harris was in prison.
Yes.
Did you tell him what had happened?
I asked him for a divorce.
Would he not give you one? Is that why you met him tonight?
Yes.
I'd have given him money. Plenty.
But he didn't want money.
No.
What did he want?
He wanted trouble, that's all he knows about.
It's understandable as that, ma'am. He's a twisted one, is Crasher.
Of course he is. Twisted. Not that I've met him, of course.
Can I just ask, how long were you married to Harris before he went to prison?
10 months.
I don't remember you in court or anything.
Well, I was upset.
So who was the second man?
There isn't one.
A witness says there is.
I was thinking about that as I was coming over it.
Oh,
Well, that's what panicked me, actually. That's what made me give so much away, the thought that Gorgeous was the second man. It's a left-hand drive car, you see. Harris got into what looked like the passenger seat.
and drove himself?
Yes.
Why left-hand drive?
No one in Hartley had one. Has all this got to come out?
Come out.
If it does, Jack's done it, hasn't he? He's ruined himself for love.
Where did you meet Harris?
The Empress Ballroom.
What?
Tonight. On the canal by the mills.
What happened?
Well, we'd neither of us any cigarettes.
How do you mean?
I gave him the keys.
The car keys?
He drove off.
You mean he stole the car?
Ow. No. He went off for cigarettes.
With your permission?
He is my husband, isn't he?
He used the car to commit an offence.
We've not said it was stolen, though, have we?
Councillor, consider very carefully. You have given us false information.
Not under caution, I haven't.
How is the car insured?
Comprehensive. Harris could drive it with permission.
How do you know he has a licence?
He did when I married him.
All I want with Harris is a friendly conversation with regards to divorce. I expect his solicitor could put that to him. Well, you'll get him for chucking the grid. You'll blast him, and quite right. Why should innocent people suffer? Now can I telephone my solicitor?
There's no point in continuing this conversation, Councillor. I'd like you to think about this matter overnight, come back at 10 in the morning, prepared to make statements, by which time I hope that Mr. Harris will be in our custody and will have his version of the events.
How will we get home?
I'll order you a taxi if you'd like.
Thank you.
Park Road?
Yes.
That's not far beyond where I am, actually.
George, what are you doing here? I thought you were going on home.
I think this is it, Joe.
Eh?
The Mad Dog. You know, Henshaw Street.
Mad Dog?
What's all this?
It's the Mad Dog of Henshaw Street, Mum.
That?
Well, as you see, it's no collar.
Is that your scarf?
Yes.
How did you make it secure?
Well, I flung myself on top of it, Mum.
Had it attacked you?
To bear its gums, Joseph. Do you know what I mean?
Where were you?
Walking to my car.
George!
Huh?
Hand that dog to the constable.
Yes, Mum.
And George,
Mum?
I don't want to see anything on your expenses sheet for dry cleaning that raincoat. Do you understand?
Yes, Mum.
Sergeant, you order me a taxi, please.
Right, ma'am. You will catch Harris tonight, then.
What?
Harris.
Yes, sir. And that left-hand drive car, I'm sure we will.
Mr. Harris?
Eh?
Are you Mr. Harris?
Wild horses.
Beg your pardon, sir.
Where are you from, son?
Are you Mr. Harris?
Yeah. Where are you from?
Glasgow. Could you step out of the car, please?
Are you Rangers or Celtic?
Celtic.
Well done.
I have asked you to step out of the car, sir.
Actually, and you'll go far if you call people sir. I can't do that.
And why not?
I get headaches.
Harris, step out of the car.
You see that wall on the corner?
Yeah, what about it?
I'm going to drive into it.
Now, don't be silly, sir.
My life's finished, son. I've been beaten by the Rangers. You know what I mean?
Harris!
What's happening? What's the hold-up?
Dunno, Chief.
Hey?
Dunno, do I? Here, hang on.
What?
It's the law.
He won't touch him, this young fool. He won't help him at all. My God, you go. Get him out. Put him out of his misery. Help him.
Don't worry. The ambulance will be here in a minute.
It's my legs.
Try and lie still. And I'll wipe your face. Lie still if you can.
Why don't they move it?
Here we are, Mum.
Why don't they stop that?
Take her away.
No. Fascist.
Now, look here, young man. I am a member of the council. What is all this? I mean... Oh, no.
Hey?
That's my car. It's a total write-off.
It's not, is it?
That can't be replaced. That model's gone out of production.
Crasho's in it!
Hey?
Crasho!
Back here!
Try to breathe slowly. We can move you when the ambulance arrives. Slowly, that's it. Good, good. Well done.
I've done what she wants.
What?
She wants me dead. That's what she wants.
Please, he's doing very well. Please be calm.
You see what I mean? She wants me dead.
What does he say?
Nothing.
He's not gone, has he?
Yes.
Hold me.
I've got blood on my hands.
I don't care.
What's happened to the swine?
Oh, my God.
There you are then, gorgeous. The doctor says sleep now. And everything will be wonderful. Wonderful. Don't you fret yourself. We'll have a white wedding, won't we, eh? We will. We'll have a white wedding. What?
The car.
I can't hear you.
Fred McMurray, Barbara, and... Oh, do you know what I mean?
Hey?
What?
Barbara Stanwyck.
Oh. I don't know what to say. I really don't. I mean, we'll still come to the hot pot supper.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
I've informed the lad.
Councillor, I'll let you know tomorrow. He still invited me to the hot pot supper.
Well, it's very good public relations, Mum.
You reckon you'll still go, Mum?
Yeah, of course. Gallagher did well.
He did.
Is he upset about Harris?
Aye. But what could he have done? Harris was a nutter.
It was. Joseph, how did you know foxes up-tip dustbins?
I saw it on TV, man.
I should have known. Was that the mad dog of Henshaw Street?
No, not exactly, Mum. There's been another attack this morning.
Sorry, Mum.
Gentlemen, please try to get this together. Come in.
Excuse me, Ma'am. Councillor and Mrs. Winterbottom.
Give me 1 minute. The deputy mayor-elect. Nothing we can do, is there?
Not much point.
Throwfall's Foundry, Manchester.
Hey?
I'll tell you what, though.
What?
I checked the dates.
Dates?
She met Winterbottom well before the trial.
Trial? What trial? What are you talking about?
And to confirm it, I asked CID.
CID?
It wasn't Hooker Wainwright that shocked Crashaw Harris. It was his loving wife. Gorgeous.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
ginger whiskers standing out all round his face?
Yes, Sarge. 8 o'clock last night, lying outside the Co-op doorway in Market Street.
Billy Bottle.
Should I have necked him?
Well, perhaps moved him on.
He was paralytic drunk. Where to? Doorway of Woolworths?
Well, that's a real treat, Arnold. Thanks very much indeed for letting me know. I appreciate it. Thanks again, Ta. Oh, boy. Right, lunch on me.
Where are we going?
Nowhere, we're too busy. Right, son, go to Mumford's and throw caution to the winds. I'm not expecting no change.
How much? £800 for a stair carpet, not including fitting? Good Lord, where do you think I live? Alton Tower? No, thanks. I'll get another estimate somewhere else. Yes, come in. Oh, sorry, Joseph. I thought you were a carpet salesman.
No, ma'am. I just thought you...
£800 for a stair carpet. Who do they think I am, the Chief Constable? Sorry, yes, Joseph. What can I do for you?
I've just had a call from a friend in the Courts Administrator's office. He thought we'd like to know that this morning Mr. Justice Willard Jones sent Ernie Gates down for 12 years.
Oh, well, yes, thanks.
Always good these days to hear somebody getting what they deserve, ma'am.
Quite a whack, 12 years, isn't it?
Protection of society, ma'am. Very important, I think, that.
Well, this is Barbara. Barbara, this is Colin. This is Sheila.
Hello, Barbara.
Hello. Yes, well, I'll,
Would you like a cup of tea? That's some made.
Yes, Barbara?
Oh, Tom, you stop and have one with Sheila. Hmm? I'll take you upstairs and show you your room then, Barbara. Eh?
Not every day you see your father sent to prison for 12 years, is it?
Letting a girl of her age be in court.
She wanted to.
So how long's she going to be here?
Alison didn't say.
Not to me, no. To you?
No, Sheila, she didn't. No.
Nor to Barbara.
Well, it is only temporary until Alison decides what's best to do.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Tom. I know it's not your fault. But it's typical of Alison, isn't it? Doesn't matter how inconvenient it is for anyone else.
Are you overcrowded?
No, I didn't mean that. I meant how it would affect her. All the other girls here are long stay. At least they know that much. They've got that security. I don't like us being used as a staging post.
You'd like me to make that point to Alison when I see you?
I can make my own points to Alison, thank you, Tom.
Hey! I thought we were supposed to be friends. I know I haven't seen you both for a while.
Sorry.
How are things between you and Cole?
Yes, all right. I know you and Colin are old friends, Tom. Has he...
Sure, I haven't seen Colin for months.
More tea?
Yeah.
Mrs. Darby. How do you do? I'm Jeff Todd.
Mr. Todd.
Thank you for seeing me. I'll not keep you long. I just wanted some guidance. Well, I took a big risk giving evidence in court. If it hadn't been for me, Ernie Gates wouldn't have got anything like 12 years.
Yes.
He's a very dangerous man, Mrs. Darby.
No.
He's got connections.
Perhaps. Well.
Well, point is, I think I need protection for a while. I don't think you can refuse, can you?
I think so, Mr. Todd, yes. But just to make sure, I'll inquire. Come back later in the day. Oh, pasty's good. One spare.
Help yourself, ma'am.
Ah.
You only wanted one, didn't you?
Sarge?
A little celebratory lunch, ma'am, over Ernie Gates.
I'm Billy Bottle.
Billy Bottle? Thought he was dead, don't tell me.
Careful, Mum.
He's resurrected himself, you might say.
I don't know.
David saw him last night in a shop doorway in Market Street.
Did you move him on, David?
Of course, Mum.
We're not keen on vagrant alcoholics in Hartley. I'll tell you what goes nicely with these. Shandy.
Well, I paid for the pasties, didn't I?
So, not very nice the experience for you either. Did Barbara say anything to you at all?
Not one word the whole way there.
She couldn't be in a better place. Sheila and Colin will help her if anyone can. Sorry. Mrs. Cowan. Uh-huh. Oh, tell them I'm tied up just now, would you, Mary? Thanks.
How long's she likely to be there?
Sheila been getting at you?
No, no.
You really must learn to be a better liar. She's already been on the phone to me about it.
Well, I'd be interested to know, too.
At her age, in her circumstances, I'd think fostering would be best. But it'll take me a day or two to find exactly the right place.
Did it cross anyone's mind that her father was likely to get a heavy prison sentence?
But not that her mother would seize the opportunity to abandon her and run off with someone else.
Where's she gone?
Blackpool? What would you do?
If I found her mother? Well, she'd be prepared to talk about it.
Tell her the girl is her responsibility and she's got to accept it.
Oh, that wouldn't be much help to Barbara, would it? Blinding in like that straight off. Likely to put her back up straight away.
Oh.
Am I learning?
Are you?
Well, I hope.
So, what about it then? Is this the time?
Time for what?
When you joined us, presumably Alan mentioned the subject of your going on for training and proper social work qualification after you'd had some basic field work experience, did he?
Yes, he did say that would be expected, yes.
So, what about it?
Well, I'm not sure I'm ready for it.
Experience-wise, personally, or what?
All that, especially the all what.
Think it over.
But to be quite honest, Alison, I'm not sure that it's right for me, really, social work.
So, going for training would help you find out?
Ah, but it's a 2-year course. I'm not even sure if I can afford it.
Oh, it's not for me to make the final decision, but I think there's a good chance the department might second you.
Well, what would that mean? I mean, in financial terms.
Well, we'd pay your training costs, give you a grant for books and so on, pay you a salary. Not what you're getting now, but a salary. Let's see, your wife's working, isn't she?
Oh, you mean, could I swallow my pride?
Yes, all right, if you like.
Oh, well, I'm only 3 generations older than you, Alison. I'll talk to her.
Well, how do you feel about it?
Stop sounding like a professional social worker.
Well, it is what matters.
Yeah, the trouble is, I don't really know. Wouldn't have to talk it over with Colin.
Oh, do you mean at Mariner House Community Home? Chap was married to what's her name? Yeah, good idea, why not?
2-year courses. Mature non-graduates are welcome. Experience in social work is an admission requirement. Manchester, Liverpool. Either of those would be okay. Near enough. So if they gave me a place. If I wanted a place.
Look, let's talk about it some more. What are the pros and cons? Trying to list them might help. So, first of all, in favour of you going on a course that would end up with you having a proper, recognised qualification. Number 1. Afterwards, there'd be a whole new range of jobs open to you that you couldn't even be considered for as you are now. Number 2, money. The salary you'd be able to earn then would be far... What's the matter?
Are you sure you're not a professional social worker?
Listen.
I suppose he's entitled to protection.
If he hadn't turned Queen's evidence, he'd probably gone down for 12 years himself. So, that was his protection.
Does he seriously think Ernie Gates has enough influence from inside the Nick to have him seen to?
I don't know what Todd seriously thinks. Whatever it is, it's enough to have got him inside a police station voluntarily.
Message just come through from Moortop, Sergeant. Will I get pasties again today?
Don't they have anything else?
Savoury mince mutton pancakes?
Pasties.
Pasties.
Oh, well. Did you know Ernie Gates had a daughter?
I think I did hear something said about it once by somebody. Only since she's never been in any trouble. Barbara Gates, 14, picked up at Moortop Bus Depot at 1 a.m. by woman police constable McKee and returned to Mariner House Community Home for Girls. Well, thanks for letting us know. Oh. Oh, yes. Just a minute.
Oh, sorry.
No, thanks.
Barbara, I have a statutory duty. That means that I've no choice. I've got to do it. To look after you and take care of you and find you somewhere to live. I put you here just to begin with Colin and Sheila, until I could sort out one or two possible places and then come and have a chat with you about what you thought you'd like best. But you don't have to stay here any longer at all if you don't want to. If I found, say, an ordinary family in an ordinary house, would you stay there instead with them for a few days? I do have to know, Barbara. I'd much sooner we worked out together where you were going. But if we can't, then I shall have to apply for a court order, which means that I have the power to decide on my own what to do with you, whether you like it or not.
I'm not going to stop anywhere.
Well, you're old enough to understand this. If you go on running away, you'll only be brought back. And then I shan't have any choice but to put you somewhere that you can't run away from. Have you had a chat with Sheila about this at all?
No. Well, we've not really had the time yet, have we, Barbara?
Look, I must go and see one of the other girls for a few minutes. Why don't you and Sheila have
I want
a
to
little...
talk to you.
Yes, all right then.
On our own in private.
Right, well, I've got to go and see about... So I'll just...
Right. Okay.
I don't want to have to stop here.
Well?
Todd, Mum. Geoffrey Todd.
Yes?
I think I know why he feels he needs protection. Particularly, I mean.
Yes?
And Sergeant Beck's just made a telephone call to one of his contacts, too, to check it.
It's not absolutely definite, but it certainly sounds like it.
I hadn't put two and two together, as you might say.
Well, I'm going to Foxcross to look at some stair carpets, see if you can have got to the point by the time I get back.
It's his wife, Mum.
Whose wife? What is?
Ernie Gates, ma'am.
It's truth, this is hard work. What about Ernie Gates's wife?
The whisper is that Todd was messing about with her while Gates was in custody waiting to come up for trial. And now he's gone down, they've shacked up together permanently. Which would be a good reason for Todd thinking he was in need of some protection.
Oh.
Well, all right. Let's ask Mr. Todd to come back and have another little chat with us, shall we?
Thanks, love.
Oh, John, cheers.
No, thanks for coming.
It pressed for time?
What? Oh, no, just a bit cold, that's all.
You met my wife before, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so, once. She's in the police force, isn't she?
She says you try and slip in, join us for a quick one.
Ah, good.
Well, we wanted some advice. Well, I did. So I thought, who better than an old mate who's been in it a lot longer than I have? Social work.
Oh.
Alison thinks it's time that I was going on for proper training.
Yeah.
And if I did, well, the department would probably, possibly, second me.
Oh, jump at it.
Yeah?
Well, 10 years' time, you'll not even get the sort of job you got if you're not qualified. All you'll be in with a chance for will be T-boy. Probably not even that if he didn't have a certificate.
You qualified?
No. Sheila is, though, which will be a great help.
You mean will be?
If we separate, she'll be able to get a good job more or less anywhere.
I'm sorry. I didn't realise it got to that stage. Well, are you going to take your own advice? Get qualified?
Not sure. I'm not all that keen on some of the other people in social work at present.
Alison.
No, I'm not being specific. It's just that... Oh, look, Tom, I'm sorry. I've just remembered I want to get a bunch of flowers for Sheila before they close for lunch. The other half, a quick one.
No, I'm all right, no. Well, looks like Jean's going to be late anyway. Birthday, is it?
What? Oh, no. No. Oh, please say I'm sorry. Give your wife my regards. Just because it might not suit one person, I mean, that doesn't mean it might not be completely different for somebody else. I mean it, Tom. If you've got the chance, you take it.
Mrs. Granger's got 2 children, a boy and a girl. I think one's 6, the other's about 8. Mr. Granger died last year. I think you'll like them. I think they'll like you. But it's only for 2 or 3 days to begin with, okay? Right then, come on.
Look, I mean... All right, it's not illegal, is it? I mean, it's not against the law. It happens every day. You meet somebody, you fall for each other, and pump, that's it.
Sounds really world-shaking. Pumph.
I'm not a very emotional man.
Well, I'm not a very emotional woman. But I hope I could inspire someone a bit more than that.
Anyway, I'm after this job. This is a good chance I'll get it, and if I do, well, it'll be in Norwich. We'll be moving there.
Good. Because we can't give you protection, Mr. Todd. Not for moving in with someone else's wife when he's been sent to prison. So my advice would be to do what you're thinking of doing. Run.
Hard.
Look, I'll tell you the truth. It's not Ernie Gates' wife. I mean, if it was, there'd be no problem. I mean, she's a write-off. Dead lost. Nobody knows where she is or cares. It's not his wife, it's his girlfriend.
Oh, well. I can see that's much more serious, yes.
Yes, it is. So?
But hard luck. Sorry, no.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to take this up. I'm going to take this up with somebody higher up.
Try God.
Don't you ever get the feeling you've never really lived? Oh, I was supposed to be meeting Tom. Oh, well.
Thanks, Mary. Yes, ask him to come straight in, would you, please? Come in.
Yes, Alison? Well, do tell me what it's all about. I get home after lunch to find that you've taken Barbara away and told Sheila to tell me to phone you immediately I get in. I do, and what I get's a message saying you want to see me at 4 o'clock. It's now precisely 1 minute past 4. Here I am.
You idiot, Colin.
What did she say to you?
Who?
Alison, before she took Barbara away.
I've told you nothing. Only for
Barbara?
her. No.
So you don't know what this is all about?
No, Colin, I've no idea what it's about.
Barbara has made an allegation about me. Oh, no, Colin, no. How could she?
Yes, sir. I'll give her the message as soon as she comes in. Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Hartley to 8018. Hartley to 8018.
Again last night? Where this time?
Under that old broken down bridge to the canal.
Did you move him on, David?
It was built in the rain. Just moved him a bit further under out of the wet.
Oh, you better not tell the boss that. And look, son, next time you trip over him, nick him. At least that way he'll get a nice warm night in the cells and get some breakfast or something.
Sarge. How old is he anyway?
Billy Bottle. How old's Billy Bottle, George?
Oh, it's hard to say with all those whiskers on him. Must be 40 now, though, mustn't he?
40? But he looks more like 70.
Yeah, it gets you like that when you're as far gone as he is. Morning, man.
Morning. Anything further come through about Scott and Evans, George?
No, nothing yet, Mum. Oh, Chief Inspector Charles says, would you phone, please, when you come in?
Yeah, OK.
I remember reading this article in the Clarion once. Apparently, there was this young police cadet got interested in vagrant alcoholics, so they gave him a month's leave to go and live with them, really study them. But I think after 3 weeks...
Wonder if they give me time off to go and study the social problems of the Bahamas.
No,
He was whispering.
Go and have a talk with Father O'Brien at St. Jude's.
Who?
Will you think someone tried to break into the...
Billy Baldwin, I've propped him up.
What?
Nothing you can make any sense out of. He keeps his head down like that all the time.
But anyway, though, you're happier here than you were at Mariner House.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Who gave you that? Mrs. Granger? Barbara, I'm going to say something to you. And before you say anything in reply at all, please think very carefully. If what you said about Colin is true, he's going to lose his job. Do you want to think about it for a minute? Sorry?
Go on, Colin. Take your coat off, eh? Now, make yourself comfortable. Sit down. I don't often get home at lunchtime, but I was near and you're fed up in pubs and places, don't you?
Yeah. Did you want to have a smoke?
No, of course not. Now, so what do I owe the pleasure?
Sure.
Another pep talk about getting qualified?
I'm in need of your help, Tom.
Oh, well, ask. Anything. Yeah, just, you know that.
That girl you brought to the house the other day, Barbara Gates.
Oh, yeah? How's she getting on?
When you brought her over in the car, did anything happen, like, between you and her?
No. I mean, like what? Why?
Oh, no, it's okay. I just thought it might have. That would have helped me, you see.
Poor little kid. She was really down. She'd been in court, you know, when her father was...
She's made an allegation about me.
Hey? Oh, ridiculous. Well, it's her word against yours. Well, who's going to believe that?
Alison believes it. She's taken the kid away. I've been suspended from work. Alison insists I resign.
You what? Oh, come on, man, that's preposterous.
Maybe. I can't do a thing about it.
God. I can't credit it. Well, maybe the middle of the day, but I could do with the brandy. Sure, you could, too. I'm sorry, Colin, but she's lying, isn't she? Of course she is.
Hartley Police. Hold on. Scott and Evans for you, Mum.
Well, what can colours have you got in stock? Is that all? Just those three? Oh, all right, thank you. I'll have a think about it. Honestly, it'd be easy to take the stairs out and put a lift in. Is this it?
For the moment, ma'am, yes.
Not what you call cast iron evidence to make an arrest on, is it?
We've reason to hope we may soon have a statement from an informant that should tie it all up neatly.
Informants, what would we do without them? Oh, that reminds me. Chief Inspector Charlesworth says we can tell Mr. Todd there will be no ring of armed policemen around his house, or for that matter, not even one. But any patrol car happening to find itself in the vicinity might occasionally cast an eye.
I'm sure that'll fill him with total confidence, ma'am.
And when you tell him, don't wrap it up. Just let him stew gently in his own... Do you think it shows, Joseph, that I don't much like Mr. Todd?
Well, just a little. Still, like you say, we can't really do without people like him. Though in his case, you do seem to dislike him rather more than most, if I may make so bold.
It's got nothing to do with him being an informer, though. It's because he's a snake.
Ah, yes, I see, ma'am.
No, you don't see, Mum. But as we're on the subject, I'll tell you. 6 years ago, he got hold of some letters a friend of mine had been indiscreet enough to write to someone who wasn't her husband. He asked her for money, and when she said she couldn't pay and he'd better do his damnedest, that's exactly what he did do. The very next morning, there were copies of the letters on her husband's desk when he arrived at work. He jumped in his car to drive back home, much too fast, skidded at a roundabout and went straight under a container lorry.
Was there no way of nailing Todd?
She told me, but he'd been far too clever for there to be any evidence. So she was left a widow with 3 children, and the feeling for the rest of her life that it was her fault her husband had been killed. He doesn't know, I know, though. Some things are better kept quiet, aren't they? Till an appropriate time.
You've really asked for his resignation? You really have? Well, I think it's monstrous. I think it's absolutely downright monstrous.
I'm sorry, Tom. I've told you already. I'm not going to discuss it.
Well, I'm sorry too, Alison, but I am. Now, look, you can't just turn it off like that. It's not Colin's idea for me to come and see you, no. This is my idea. I protest about his treatment in the strongest possible terms. I protest. Now, look, I took her all the way from the court to Mariner House in the car. She could have made up any fairy story she liked about me. If she had, would I have been asked to resign?
Tom, I really am very busy, so do you mind?
Alison, you've crushed the man. He's absolutely shattered. Now, look, Alison, I shouldn't say this, perhaps, but... Well, he and Sheila are going... Their marriage is going through a very rocky patch just now.
I know that, yes.
Well, he's not going to have any chance at all of surviving now, is he?
That is something that only Colin and Sheila can work out between them.
Oh, you're just going to stand aside and say it's nothing to do with you? I thought social work was supposed to be about caring for people.
Tom, I am not going to discuss other people's personal affairs.
Oh, that's marvellous, marvellous. Well, are you saying there's not even going to be some kind of inquiry so he can defend himself? Just got to resign, that's it, finish?
I hope there'll be no inquiry. Barbara is unsettled and disturbed enough as it is.
Well, there you are then. That's exactly the point. Barbara is unsettled and disturbed. And yet you'll kick a man out of his job just because somebody like that...
Mrs. Cowan. Yes, Mary, tell them I'll be along there in a moment. Thank you. I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm due at a case conference. Excuse me.
So this is what you want me to train to become like, is it? An iceberg, not a flicker of warmth or feeling for someone showing anywhere.
I shall sit down and calm down, Tom, if I were you. Shall I ask Mary to bring you in a cup of tea?
No, thanks.
Oh, hello, love. Didn't know you'd be back.
Well, I am.
Something wrong?
No.
Tom, we haven't been married as long as we have just to play silly games. Tell me what the matter is, please.
Now, don't you start giving me orders.
I'll not only give you orders, I'll knock your block off, sunshine, if you go on behaving like a great big kid. Please forgive me. I've had a very hard... I'm really sorry.
I've been to see Alison today.
Yes?
About... well, it's a confidential matter to do with somebody in the department.
Confidential means you're not going to tell me?
I can't very well. Well, not at the moment, no. It's just that somebody I know and like has been accused of misconduct. Alison's decided straight off that he's guilty and he's demanded his immediate resignation.
Oh.
I mean, it's the most unfair, the most outrageous piece of high-handedness I've ever heard of. I go and try and talk to her about it, and she flatly refuses even to discuss it.
And has she got this resignation?
I don't know if she's got it in writing, she's got mine.
Pardon?
That's why I came home early to write the letter. Call the afternoon post to get it in the morning.
Tom, you've what?
Well, I suppose I better be going. Go out the back way in case anyone sees me.
You've been suspended from duty, but you can come and see me. No one can stop you doing that. How are Anne and Derek? Are they all right?
Fine. Good, sorry.
You've been taking pills again?
It helps.
Did you tell them about it, Anne and Derek?
No. I just said things were bad between you and me again. We needed a few days apart to think things over.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it's true in a way. I have been thinking things over, she.
Good.
Well, let's not have any recrimination. Let's just draw a line under it. OK, it's over, it's finished, that's it. I'm too tired to even try to fight anymore. You, Alison. I'm sorry, I just can't be bothered anymore.
You're so up to your eyes in tranquilizers, you're not
Yes,
giving yourself much of a
okay,
chance,
she,
are
it's
you?
all right. I thought I'd go back to Hull.
All right. I want you to know this, Colin. Wherever you go, I'm going to be there with you.
Really? Oh?
Well, yes, I see.
Not even being given the chance to defend himself, that's what gets me. His job, his marriage, all down the drain on the word of a 14-year-old girl.
Hmm. And Alison would say absolutely nothing to you. She just stonewalled.
Nothing at all.
You asked yourself why?
Well, it's perfectly obvious why, isn't it? She's got about as much human feeling as that. Are you defending her?
No. I'm trying to think of the position Alison's in.
Never mind about the position Alison's in. What about the position Colin's in?
Exactly.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
Look, I'm only guessing. But has it struck you that she won't say anything to you because there's nothing she can say that wouldn't be a total breach of confidence and reveal something to you about him that she couldn't even so much as drop a hint about it to you, could she?
What do you mean? I mean, for example, there might have been a previous incident, something like that.
It's not impossible, is it?
Yes, but... Oh, no, good Lord, you'd have to make it worse. I mean, if that was the case, you'd be forevermore at the mercy of the slightest whisper.
Yes. So you'd think he'd make absolutely certain that he never allowed himself to be in a situation where anyone could allege anything, wouldn't you?
Oh, God. Don't let you have your letters back when you post them, do they? Oh, well, never mind. I never liked social work much anyway. I was never very good at it either. I was too ready to chuck my weight about. I'll get it. Hello. Oh, hello, Sheila. How are you? No, of course I'm not too busy to talk.
What time last night?
The accident was reported as occurring at 20:15, ma'am.
In Vernon Street, you say?
Yes, ma'am, at the top. The corner where the traffic lights are by the church. The car mounted the pavement and crushed him against the wall. He was dead on arrival at the hospital.
Who? Well... So, that's the end of Mr. Geoffrey Todd.
Yes, ma'am. In a way, it, well, solves a few matters, you might say, doesn't it?
Silly. I can't help it, but I do. I feel a bit guilty somehow. Do you?
No, I can't say I do, to be honest. No, not in the slightest. And with respect, I don't think you should either.
He did come and ask us to give him protection.
There was no way we could have protected him against being knocked down and killed in a road accident.
If it definitely was an accident, was it?
I would say so fairly certainly, yes. There's no doubt about it whatsoever.
How's that?
The driver of the car that killed him was 73, and she's in hospital herself, with a broken arm and extensive injuries to her head.
Oh. Yes, what? I don't feel glad about it, though. And I always thought I would do if something happened to him. Do you know what I do feel, Joseph? Cheated. That's not really very nice, is it?
Oh, sorry, Tom. Honestly, some of those magistrates just go on and on and on. Hasn't Mary given you a cup of coffee? Please.
No, well, yes, she did offer me
What
one.
can I do for you?
Well, I've come to say, can I have it back?
Of course, yes. Whatever it is. I've got a terrible memory. But what is it that I've got that's yours?
Well, that letter, the one I posted yesterday.
Oh, well, you know what the post's like.
Oh. Oh, would you do me a favour when you do get it? Give it me back without opening it.
Why? Is it rude?
Well, you could say that. Another word would be intemperate. Another one would be rash. Another one would be offensive. And another one would be very, very stupid.
Wow. Well, we all fly off the handle now and again, don't we? I know I do.
I also wrote I was handing in my notice. I'd like that to be ignored too, please, if possible.
It is ignored. I never took it seriously for a moment.
Oh, well, that's all right then, so long as the... thought you said you hadn't had it.
Oh, well, just now while you were speaking, it vaguely seemed to ring a bell. But I didn't take it seriously. I threw it away. So let's forget it. What happened to make you change your mind?
My wife happened. You mean about Colin, though, don't you?
Oh, do I?
She'd have rang up last night, said they both resigning together.
Oh.
Oh. No, I can't do it. You don't give a damn thing away, do you? Resignation or dismissal, that was the choice you offered him, wasn't it? If you dismissed him and he appealed, then it would have come out, wouldn't it? You had 2 previous warnings already.
That's right. Now let's talk about something else, shall we, all right? Only, I hope you'll believe this. I like Colin a lot. He's got some marvellous qualities, so I think it's desperately sad. Anyway, while you are here, what I really wanted to say was, I've been making a few phone calls to see if any of the training colleges have got any course places left. I knew it was getting very, very late for applying this year, so I hope you'll forgive me taking the liberty. It's a pretty depressing picture, I'm afraid. Manchester, no. Liverpool, no. Leeds, no. Birmingham, no. North London, no. It's more or less the same all over the country.
Oh. Well, thanks for trying. Sorry it's been such a waste of time.
Almost, but not quite. Out of the whole country, there is one place left on one course, and by a sheer stroke of luck, the principal's someone I was at school with. I know it's rank string-pulling, but if you want it...
Well, one place in the whole country. Where?
Dover.
Dover?
Dover. What did you say?
What do you think I said?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you. What did you say?
Thanks, but no thanks. Of course.
Why?
What do you mean, why? I wouldn't dream of going that far away from it. You know it. It's over 300 miles, you know.
Well, there are things called letters and telephones. And you'd have the college holidays, longer holidays than I get, so don't just
Jean, you're not serious, are you?
If she's willing to use her connections to get you the only place at college going vacant in the entire country, that is some compliment.
You're mad.
You are if you don't take it.
Oh, I see. You've gone off me. You want to get me out of the way.
Shift down. No, listen, hang on. I love you, Tom.
I love you.
So much so that I don't know how I'll do it. I don't know how I'll bear to live without you, but I will. I'll put up with it if at the end of it you have a training and a qualification that'll last you forever, for the rest of your life. And as for money, well, we could live without a stair carpet a little while longer. Think, Tom. How many lives have we got to do something with? Another one. Don't. You can't. Don't waste it.
Come on, Billy. Seven 823 to Hartley. I'm on the waste ground off Barley Road to Valley Bottle. I think he's dead, no need an ambulance. 7823 out.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
What's that burning smell?
Burning, you mind? It's a traditional dish. Called fried eggs stuck to the bottom of the pan.
Can you eat it?
I take it you prefer cereal, dear.
After shift. What time do you train?
11:15.
Now go easy with your dad. No rows, no problems.
No way.
Just give him a lot of love. Half of it from me. And don't feel you have to hurry back.
Well, first you criticise my cookie, then you say you'd hold me back. It's a great start to the day, isn't it? How are you, Dad?
Trouble.
How is she?
She's very ill.
Go to the hospital then, eh?
I've just come from it. I'm on my way home.
Well, there's a taxi.
I can walk.
We'll take a taxi, Dad.
Well, if you've got money to burn.
You look tired, Dad.
Well, I've been up with her 4 nights. You want a beer?
Fancy a cup of tea, actually.
Well, you can make that. I'll just have a couple of beers and then I'll lay down for a bit.
Then we'll go to the hospital. We'll go to the hospital after you've had a nap, eh?
Tell me, Summit. Why did you really come?
What do you mean? Of course I come.
The visits you've paid us, I can count on me 2 hands.
Now, we've been through all that before.
Maybe to your satisfaction, not to mine.
Now, don't be like that, Dad. I wanted to come.
You've never shown that much interest in your stepmother?
Look, it's just that... Well, it took me a long time to get used to the idea that when my mum died, you remarried a touch too fast.
No. Or remarried a touch too low.
Oh, well, no, that's not true either. You know it. Look, I may be 100 rotten things, but I'm not a snob.
Well, Mary always... She's dying, Tom. You're her stepmother. And I'm not at all sure I want you here.
Well, I'd like to stay. But sleep on it. And if you want me to, I'll go.
Massive cerebral hemorrhage.
Was my father there when it happened?
Yes, he was. Of course, you're not supposed to move the patient. He did. Now, he knows he shouldn't have moved her, and that's upset him a bit. Oh, we're doing all we can. We must just wait for nature to take its course. We can't predict when she'll come round. But it doesn't look too good, Tom.
Can I...
Excuse me.
Can I start me down? Is he physically okay?
Oh, yes, yes. Of all our merry band of volunteers, nobody puts in more hours than he does. A year ago, we had a house father and mother who were both injured in a car crash. It's hell's own job finding replacements. But your dad insisted on stepping in, helping to look after 11 children for a month, driving, cooking, doing everything for them.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, it knocked him out a bit afterwards, not unnaturally, but normally he's got the constitution of a horse.
I didn't even know he could cook.
Oh, yes. He can do anything when he sets his mind to it. No, it's never his physical fitness I'm worried about. It's more his psychological state.
And what's that?
Well, it's hard to explain, but somehow, you know, he's a deeply unhappy man. Now, there are people like him. Mary gives him the home life and apparent security, but he's the sort who'll never be content, who never feels that he's really got to grips with his life. Feels that he's never achieved enough.
And what happens if Mary dies?
I don't know. Maybe the rugged individualist will come unstuck. I'll tell you something, though. Your father has given his all to this hospital. And if Mary goes, I just want to say, you'll never be short of friends here.
And send this report to HQ marked for the attention of Mr. Hallam.
Right, ma'am.
Oh, and I've had confirmation that Renshaw can go on the driving course. So would you like to tell him the good news?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Gallagher's back from his walking tour today, isn't he?
If you call a 24-hour stroll on the moors a tour, ma'am, yes.
Actually, I'm a bit concerned about him. Twice when I talked to him last week, I sensed... He seems a bit distrayed, does young Davy. Any idea why?
No, ma'am.
Not holding back on me, are you, Sergeant?
No, ma'am.
Do you still think he's a good copper?
He's a reasonable lad, basically sound.
I think so.
He's a bit loud, you know. That's the Scots background. A bit quick with an opinion, a bit off on the humour, like. But, we think well enough of him.
You, George, and the others in this station know more gossip than the CIA. You must know the form on Gallagher.
Well, now you mention it, he did say something to one of the lads some thought he'd had about a transfer.
Transfer? But he's hardly just arrived from Strathclyde.
Yes, ma'am.
Get your ear to the ground, Joseph, see what you can find out. Oh, and when Gallagher comes in, ask him to see me.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you, lad?
OK, Gerald.
Still living off the immoral earnings of the police?
Aye, something like that.
It's been a long time, Tom. Country's in a worse bloody state than when we last met. You got anything to do with that?
No, no.
Well, I wouldn't give you a fiver for the whole of the United Kingdom. Well, it's back to my penthouse. So do you feel like a walk, a talk, and hit the pubs at appropriate hour?
Well, I could do with a bite to eat.
Sandwich or something more substantial?
I'm eaten since breakfast.
Then it's Britley's answer to the Savoy drill. Come on, lad.
Gerald?
Hello.
Sir, would you care to order, please?
Well, for me, chicken korma, please.
With chips or rice?
Oh, with rice.
Come on, Tom. You're being a snob. I bet you want it with chips.
No, I don't. I want it with rice.
Half a tandoori chicken. With chips.
Any vegetable?
Not for me, thanks, no.
Yes, please. Dal, bindi, and a couple of naan.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald.
Oh. Yes, you're right. I wouldn't have preferred chips. We haven't ordered any drink.
No, we don't have to. He knows we're only here for the beer. How long are you down for?
A couple of days. Just depends how it goes with Mary.
How is your stepmother?
Not good.
How's your dad taking?
He's very upset.
You know, I see quite a lot of him.
Yeah?
Twice a week, chess club, St. Thomas's Old People's Home. He organises it. And I get threatening phone calls from him if I don't turn up.
Dr. Maidment was saying he's very useful at the hospital.
Well, he may be very charitably disposed towards the hospital, but when he's talking about you...
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
Did you never get on, even as a child?
I don't know. No, we didn't, no. No, it's as if he'd built a very solid wall between us. All my life I thought, well, one day he'll take it down. I'll give him time, but... seems to be putting up more stones, making it stronger.
Rather a complex simile?
No, it's not a simile, it's the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Cheers. Well, good health.
Sup up, lad.
By God, that's a nice drop of stuff, isn't it?
I told us so. So, how's the work?
Well, you know what I'm doing?
Oh, your dad's always on about you and the social services.
And what does he say about you?
Don't you know?
Not really.
Well, all sorts of things.
Well, come on, give us an example.
You two really don't communicate, do you?
Come on, what does he say about me, John?
Well, he feels it's the same way as I do, Tom, about what you've done with your life. By the way, this is my treat to social workers and less than teachers, I believe.
What do you mean he feels the same way as you do?
Oh, later, Tom, when we've eaten and I've drunk enough Dutch courage, eh?
Come in. Oh, David, sit down, please. I'd like to talk with you. You still happy here?
Yes, Mum.
Sure.
Yeah.
There seems to be an opinion in general circulation that recently your mind's not on the job.
But it is, Mum.
That's not what I hear, David. Is there anything troubling you here? Any problems with the other men?
No, Mum.
Is it a problem at home?
No, Mum.
Trouble with a girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend, Mum.
I'll ask you again. Sergeants Beck and Parrish would likely have noticed any problems here. So, is it a problem at home?
No, Mum. Yes, Mum.
Now, come on, David. If there's some worry you're bringing in here from home that's taking your mind off your work, I must know what it is. So, what is it?
Well, it's my stepfather, Mum.
Yes?
Well, you know what? I transferred here because my mother remarried Harry Bentham in Hartley. Well, I'm not getting on with my stepfather. That's putting it mildly. We've big rows all the time. And my mother keeps taking his side in the arguments. Well, I only came here because she came here. And, well, I'm thinking of asking for another transfer. I thought maybe I could go back to Glasgow.
A transfer? You've only just got here. Who told you you could bounce around from one police force to another like a yo-yo?
No one, Mum.
Now, come on, David, let's have it. What's been going on?
Well, for a start, my mother's unhappy.
How's that?
Well, since they married, he behaves different. His meals have got to be in time, he's tight with money, and even he goes out with his mates.
Well, that's like a lot of men, David, and a lot of marriages. What about these rows between you and him? What are they about?
I don't know. Well, sometimes they're about nothing.
You all live together, right?
Yeah. Well, some regular. Well, he just comes in and takes right against me. Before I know where it is, it's a shouting match.
Have you asked what's upsetting him?
I can't talk to him. It's impossible.
All right. Thank you for telling me. But you can't run around getting transferred from one place to another.
If I can't have this sorted out, I may have to leave the force altogether, Mum.
Oh, come on. That's a bit extreme.
I don't know if it is. Sorry to bother you with my family problems.
Well, don't worry yourself on that score. Everybody's got family problems. I've had them. My husband's got them at the moment. But you're too good a copper to lose because of some domestic trouble. We'll talk again later.
Thank you.
Can't remember my father being right about anything. Anything in his life to do with me. Why do you think he got it right?
But he agrees with me.
And why does he agree with you?
Now, Luke, Tom, you had me for years as a schoolmaster. You must have had enough of my opinions.
No.
When did I first teach you?
Form 2. Taught me history, then maths.
I remember you hated school.
Oh, no, when you were teaching.
You were a star pupil. You hated school. Everything was so easy for you and so hard for everyone else. You sailed through everything. A 13-year-old with a guilt complex because everything was so easy.
Guilt? I wouldn't have known what it was at 13, would I?
So everything was easy. But you couldn't get it to add up.
Add up to what?
Add up to life, Tom. With your talents, you could have done anything.
Oh, come on, Gerald, get up.
Really? You should have gone to university and been something.
What do you mean, been something?
Tom, you're fooling around at the butt end of society with people who can't get it to work. You had a first-class mind. I put a lot of effort into you. You've forgotten.
No, I haven't. I haven't forgotten.
Once in every 5 years or so, you get a star pupil. I gave you extra lessons, extra attention, extra encouragement, extra help. For what? When I was a lad, I was a star pupil. And I wasted my opportunities, exactly like you've wasted yours. And that angers me, because I should have stopped you doing it.
Hello?
Hello, sweetheart. How are things?
Fine, thanks. How's Mary?
Still unconscious. The doctor says it's still touch and go.
What about your dad?
Not so good.
And how are you?
Thoughtful. The natives haven't been too friendly.
Thoughtful about what?
Ah, Jean, I've got to make my mind up about this course in Dover. I'm going to make the decision while I'm up here.
Okay.
I mean, it's really down to what the hell I'm going to do with my life, Britley's where it all started for me.
Okay. Well, you know, whatever you decide, I'll go along with it.
Ah, but whatever I decide... My dad's just come in. I better ring off, love. No, I don't think that's a good idea. He's not in the mood for talking to anybody. But I'll phone you tomorrow. God bless. How is she, Dad?
Well, the doctor seems a bit more confident.
Good.
Certainly her colour's better. He might be coming round, but he says not to get too excited about it.
Do you want a drink? Cup of tea?
No, no, Tom.
You want to talk?
No. Now she's shown an improvement, I think I might be able to get a good night's rest. I'll see you in the morning.
Yeah, good night, Dad.
Oh, by the way, I met your old girlfriend, Nicky...
Taylor?
Aye. Placed here in town. Says she might give you a ring in the morning.
Oh, dear. Hello?
Tom?
Yes?
Nicky?
Hello?
How are you?
All right.
Doing anything for lunch?
No.
Could we meet?
Now look, Nicky, I don't know if...
You don't know what?
Well, I'm up here to see my dad, actually, not really to socialise.
Socialise? I only want to get a look at you.
Look, I'm a happily married man, Nicky.
It doesn't sound like you, Tom Darby, hiding behind a woman's skirts.
All right, well, I'll meet you the Three Horseshoes, all right?
Right, say 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Nicky.
Hello, Tom.
What would you like to drink?
A gin and tonic, please.
A gin and tonic. Thank you. Oh. Oh, you're looking good.
It's years since I've last seen you. You've aged.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, you've always had craggy good looks, but I think you're taking it a stage too far. More crags, less looks.
Once again. How much is that?
65 pence, please.
Sure, thank you.
Yep.
Well, we should sit down.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a long time, Tom.
So what have you been up to?
What, your dad's never told you?
No.
He's never mentioned me.
No?
Well, I see him around. I talk to him.
Well, he's never said.
Well, I got married and I got divorced, almost in the same breath. I'm living with an old mate of yours, George Beale. He's got his own garage now.
Georgie Beale? Hey, how is he?
First, ask how I am.
All right.
I still miss you. Still in love with you. I sometimes wonder how on earth I let you out of my clutches. To marry a policewoman? I mean, if it wasn't so tragic, it'd be a laugh. Apart from that, I'm okay.
Good.
This morning on the telephone, I got the impression you didn't want to see me. Why?
Well, you know how it is. I mean, Hartley's only 70 miles from here. Somebody walks into this nice little cosy pub and sees us and, well, somehow word gets back to Jean, doesn't it?
I just don't see it. Tom Darbley, completely under a woman's thumb. What a shame.
No, not under the thumb. I just care very much about my wife and her feelings. Not so insensitive to know that feelings can be hurt very easily.
Good for you. There aren't many champions of marital propriety around these days. She's a lucky girl.
Hmm. So why did you want to see me then?
Oh, chat, talk, gossip. You know, we haven't completely forgotten your existence, Tom. Quite a few folk around here still remember you.
But what do you really want, Nicky?
Well, I always felt you left in rather a hurry. Not an indecent hurry, but, well, I never really got the chance to talk things over with you before you were gone. I suppose I've been thinking about what I would have said over these years.
Oh, go on.
No, it's nothing, really. Though I do blame you sometimes.
Blame me for what?
For why I got married. Well, it was on the rebound from you. And I can blame you for getting divorced. Because him and me, well, we were never going to be like us. You know and I know. It would have worked. Us married.
I don't know.
So, you've ended up in the back end of nowhere, married to a uniform. Hartley? Wasn't it supposed to be New York or Paris?
No, it wasn't. I never said anything about New York or Paris in my life.
I want to give you something. I came across them the other day. You know I kept every letter anybody ever wrote me. Well, here's a few you wrote when you left Britley. They're all about you, your ambitions, what they were, what you wanted to be. They make interesting reading.
How is she? Oh, progress, we think. She came round, she spoke a little. Fingers crossed time. Afraid I can't be more specific. But it's always in the lap of the gods. Now, Tom, I'm a bit concerned about your father.
Me too.
I gave him some pills, like tranquilizers, but he says he won't take them. Perhaps you can put a bit of pressure on him, eh?
Right.
How is it done?
Oh, she said a few words. I told her you were here. She seemed pleased. Got a bit of colour, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, don't feel you have to hang around.
The doctor says you ought to take a pill and get some
Oh,
relaxation.
well, that's just them, ain't it? Doctors, pill for this, pill for that. I don't need that pills.
Yeah, well, I can sit with it, you know.
No. No, it's my job to be here with her. Take no umbrage, I prefer to do it alone.
Right, well, I'll go back to the house then.
Oh, Jared called by. He left a message. He said to tell you to see on the bridge about 4:15.
Oh, yeah. I'll see you later. Thanks for coming. Just wanted to chat.
Well, it's a bit early for pubs. Do you feel like a breath of air?
Tall Lake?
Sure Lake it is.
You know, I used to fish here. Cycle up every weekend. Get away from the house for a bit. Fish and fantasize. I was going to be the greatest racing driver in the world. Mike Hawthorne, eat your heart out. It's amazing how long that fantasy lasted. I was 16 or 17.
Oh, aye.
I was resisting your advice even then. You were preaching, get your O-levels, get your A-levels. I'd be thinking quietly, what's the point? Next stop, Spa, Le Mans. I've always had this quiet little voice inside me, always resisting advice. Bloody nuisance. I'm actually looking for advice, it's still there, chuntering away. Dad called me and told me Mary was ill. One of the first things I thought was, well, when I get up there, at least I'll be able to see you.
Oh, aye.
You're the biggest influence in my life, Gerald. There was one thing I really wanted to talk to you about.
Always ready to listen, Tom.
Well, I'm coming up 40. 12 months' experience as a social worker behind me, but I'm not qualified. I've got a chance to go to college in Dover for 2 years, get my certificate of qualification in social work, CQSW.
Yes?
Dover's 300 miles from Hartley. I'll be away from Jean for long periods. 300 miles is a bit far for a trip home at the weekend.
So?
I don't trust my capacity to make decisions anymore. In the past, always made decisions, well, right or wrong. I approached them rationally. Now, reason says a future as a professional in the social services is crazy. Instinct says take it, go to Dover, get qualified. I don't know how to analyse that instinct. Don't know if I can trust it.
You really want my advice?
Yes.
The fact that you're talking about this in an emotional way says you're further along the road with your decision than just an instinct to do it. You're looking for you're looking for something more than just a qualification. You're looking for an answer to what is so far a highly disorganized existence.
Maybe.
More than maybe. And you're only halfway there when you make your decision. The rest is down to the single-mindedness to see it through. And on the basis of your track record so far, Tom, that's going to be your bigger problem.
Bentham?
Aye?
Inspector Darnley.
But I can't break off work. We've got a big export order on, which is bloody rare enough. I've got to check this stuff for cutting room.
Please go ahead.
On phone, you said it was David you wanted to talk about.
Yes.
So, what's on your mind?
We think very highly of David.
Aye.
We think he has potential. He's good at his work. Or rather, was good at his work. Lately, something's happened, and he seems very preoccupied.
Any of this to do with me?
He's told me things aren't happy at home.
Oh, came gossiping to you about my home, did he?
You may not think I have a right to ask David questions about his home life, Mr. Bentham, but if his work is suffering as a result of some domestic crisis, then I must. Your stepson's told me they've been rows at home.
Has he?
He says he doesn't really understand what they're about, and he didn't think he'd be able to get to the bottom of them. I'm asking you if I can help.
There's nothing to be done, miss. I feel an outsider in my own home.
Could you explain what you mean by that, Mr. Bentham?
Are you interested in my point of view?
Yes.
I met and courted Mary Gallagher in Glasgow, a widow of 10 years' standing. And when I married her, I didn't realise that mother and son were inseparable. That where she went, he went. Do you understand that?
I know that David's father died when he was young. All his life he must have been very close to his mother.
It's all right when he's on shift. When he's home for the evening, I come home after a full day's work, and I want a quiet night with the wife. And the table's laid for 3, and he's sitting in front of my TV set. And him and his mother have already worked out what channels are to be watched that night. I feel an interloper, so I go out for a drink with my mates.
I sympathise with you, Mr. Bentham.
You do?
You've got a point. I think we shall both have to talk to David.
Hello?
Tom? Eric Maitland here.
Oh, hello, Doctor.
I've been trying to get hold of you. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Your stepmother passed away half an hour ago. There was nothing we could do. I'm very sorry.
Is my father there?
Yes.
Well, I'll be along right away, Doctor.
So sorry, Dan.
George. They'll want to take her away.
No, I'll be with her as long as I can. She opened her eyes, you know, I thought. And she just went.
I'm sorry, Dan.
Look, I don't want him getting morbid sitting there all day. I'll tell him he must go and have a cup of tea with you in the tea bar.
Yes, I know it is.
Well, you might fancy a cup of tea, Dad.
On the way home.
Can I get you a beer, Dan?
I've got to make the funeral arrangements. See Mr. Evans?
Now, look, I can do all that for you, Dan.
No, I do that for Mary. Not a stranger.
Oh. Well, that's it. I'm a stranger.
Well, aren't you?
Look, I think I've had about enough of this, Dan. I mean,
It may not be the most appropriate time to have this out, but... Well, I can't find any other, any moment when the barriers are down and we can communicate.
What do you want? I mean, you've already worked it out. I'm worth a Christmas card and a phone call on my birthday to check that I'm alive. I want an out from you. What do you want from me? You go your own way, whatever that may be. You know, I don't even know who the hell you are anymore.
Do you ever know, Dad?
All I do know is you didn't make much of your life. Fine brain, fine start in life, leading to note.
Now, can we just get this thing settled now, once for all? Now, come on, just once and for all. I'm going to say it, Dad. Well, ever since my mum died, you seem to have had it in for me. I've tried, God knows I've tried to get you to show some signs that you, well, just have any feeling for me. Everybody in Brittany says what a great bloke you are. Generous and thoughtful for others, but you've never shown it to me.
You're a hard judge.
I'm sorry, Dad, no. Well, that's my problem. I'm a weak judge. Well, you say I've got this great intelligence. Have I? Well, Nicky Taylor gave me back some letters that I wrote years ago. They've all been wrong. I'm not a brilliant high hopes future captain of industry. I was an idiot. The only thing I wanted in life was a brand new Jaguar car.
Well, you certainly didn't get that.
No, I didn't. I bloody didn't, no. No, I'll tell you what I did get, though. I'll tell you how I used my intelligence. I used it to work out what I don't need, what I don't want. I don't want money, I don't want possessions, I don't want public approval. I think this society is so rotten, only a fool would spend a lifetime trying to make it, getting on. Well, I reject it. I'm after basic values. I love my wife. We try to make each other happy. This trip home has been very important to me, Dad. I always used to think I wasn't committed enough in my life, but talking to you and Gerald and Nicky, I realise I've made quite a bit of progress down the years. I'm very sorry about Mary. I just hope that one day there'll be some miracle and just get to understand each other just a bit better, Dad.
Come in.
You wanted to see me, Mum?
Oh, yes, David. Come in, sit down. I had a chat with your stepfather yesterday, over at the mill.
Did you, Mum?
I try not to be an interfering busybody, David. When there's something affecting your work here, I must look into it. Understood?
Yes, Mum.
Your stepfather says that when he comes home in an evening, your mother's laid the table for 3, you and she have decided the night's telly, he feels an outsider in his own home.
But it's my mother that wants all these things. She asked me to come down here. She insists on cooking for me, and she wants to watch telly with me.
Then I think you're going to have to be a bit more forceful, David, and make certain things clear to her. It's time to cut the apron strings and become independent. And she's got to learn not to be so dependent on you. You're neither of you being fair to this poor man. You've both of you got to give him a chance. All right?
Yeah.
Now, are you short of money, David?
No.
Well, why not start looking for a flat of your own? Make your own life. It's not an order, just forceful advice. All right?
Yes, Mum.
That's it. Off you go.
Thank you.
Oh, and David, practice your dance steps, go out and get a girlfriend, and enjoy life. And that is an order.
Thank you, Mum.
Have we got any garden shears, Dad?
In tool shed.
Right.
What do you want them for?
Well, it's no criticism of you, but, well, my mum's grave is a bit untidy. I thought I'd just clean it up a bit. All right.
Tom.
Yes, Dad?
Don't matter.
Right, well, I'll be about an hour, eh?
Good grief.
I've caught you at it.
You're here? How?
I'm going back on Wednesday for the funeral.
Is it right to leave you, Dad?
Yeah, it's all right. Seriously, friends are better for him than me.
Didn't work out.
No.
Depressed?
Bit. Well, at least I made up my mind about Dover. Going to apply for the job.
I'm glad. We'll make it work. We'll do it.
Sure?
Yes. Now, how about something to eat?
What have we got?
Not here, out. I'll get changed. I can be ready in 10 minutes. You get yourself unpacked.
Yes, yeah.
Come on, cheer up. Dover's the biggest decision you're going to make this decade. Let's be happy about it.
You're on.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the Bill.
Hope they look after you, dear. Goodbye. Please, God, you'll be looked after. Goodbye.
Mr. Garland?
That's right. They're still arguing and screaming. I hope it's all right for me to call you up so early in the morning. You're not going to do me for wasting police time.
No, Mr. Garland. 6:20 in the morning, you're entitled to call if there's a barney going on with neighbours.
It's not exactly neighbours. Follow me. I live over there. I get view of these lockups down there.
I want the money! The money! I want the money!
I'm a light sleeper. This van arrives about 6 o'clock. Then the barney starts, and it's been going on ever since.
I want my money! My money! I want my money!
Not a brass penny. But when I finish this, I'll give you plenty of bother.
I'll go for the cops!
The hospital, that's where you're for. I'll finish this, and then I'll murder you. I'll get me mates, and I'll break every bone in your body.
Give me my money! Me money!
Get off!
You, hey, you two! Jack Lord, stop there.
Hey, up. What's all this then? I know you.
Mr. Lord, for the cells.
Why? I've done that. I've had now to do with anything. Why am I here?
Because your friend ran from me. And I believe there's a reason. And I think we'll find it after some checking into what you were unloading into that garage.
But I'm innocent. I weren't unloading. That's the point.
If you're innocent, Jack, that's got to be by way of a record. You see to him, Joe. I've got to get Bernard Duckworth out of bed.
Come on, Jack.
I want a lawyer.
Ah, well, let's see if you'll be needing one first. It's a bit early to be calling solicitors out.
Bernie, it's George here. Something's come up. Could you meet me, say half an hour, lock up garages, rear of Peel Parade, Peel Road? Cup of tea. It's more than you deserve.
Listen, what am I here for?
What are you here for?
Aye.
Well, the hope is you'll tell us. Could be you and your pal of TV fanatics, but all that lot, Jack.
But they weren't mine. Had nothing to do with it.
Well, what's the name of your pal? We'll talk to him about it.
I don't know. I was just the driver.
I see. Is that it?
That's it. I drove this bloke and his stuff, and I didn't know him nor it.
Don't believe it. Too far-fetched.
You saw him. You were there.
Saw who?
Him.
Saw you?
What are you saying?
I saw you, surrounded by a great number of TV sets at 6:20 in the morning, which struck me as odd.
Oh, I see your game, you crafty swine. You stick the lot on me, you leave him out because he got away, and then you say it's all down to me.
I'm saying nothing. Until you tell me what it was all about. Why the fight?
He wouldn't pay me. He wouldn't pay me, and I'm saying that else.
Look, how long have we known you? I mean, I've been here nearly 10 years. You go back decades before that. A regular fixture and fitting in the house of cards that makes up Hartley crime. The court's aboard with you, Jack Lord. Judges yawn when it's every court and they have to go through another tale of war with Jack Lord. And you come in here for a test in innocence.
This time I am.
Really? So what was the row about? Who was the bloke? What do you mean he wouldn't pay?
I can only tell you what won't incriminate me.
Do so.
This man, no name, he come to me and asked me to drive a van, 20 quid, from Yardley to Hartley.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick him up in his van and I drive to Hartley to the lock-up garages. And then he says, help me unload. And I say, bloody no. And he says he won't pay me until I've helped him unload the whole rotten lot. So we started shouting at each other.
What's his name, Jack?
Yeah, why am I talking to you? It's normally CID.
Oh, it's too early in the morning for CID. They need the beauty sleep and a proper breakfast before they deal with tortures.
And what about my breakfast? And there's rotten sugar in this tea. You should know by now I don't take sugar.
You build your energy while you wet your whistle, because you've got a lot of talking to do. But if we don't get the other lad, it's all got to be down to you.
But I haven't done anything!
It's a bit early, George.
Maybe for you.
What's this lot then?
TV sets. All portables. 3 sizes, 3 manufacturers. And Mr. Garland, he lives up there. Called this morning, about 6:15, complaining there was a row going on down here between 2 blokes unloading this lot. I arrived. Jack Lord I recognised immediately.
Jack Lord. I lifted him 6 months ago for shoplifting.
Well, this looks a sight more serious. He and this other fella I didn't recognise are shouting, set to in a fight. I walk on, grab Lord, as this other fella takes to his heels.
Yeah, description?
Mid-30s, 5'11", dark hair, slim build, wearing a black wind cheater, blue denim trousers.
You don't know him?
No.
Well, shall we assume this lot are knocked off?
It's likely.
Well, I'll get a photographer over, I'll take a few serial numbers, and then I'll either get back to Hartley or go over to Division. Lord say nothing?
So far.
Well, I'll keep him on the board, give him something to think about. Don't let him go cold. Otherwise I might decide to blank his memory.
Right.
Better have a quick look in the van.
Morning, Joseph.
Morning, ma'am.
Tom's back from Hull around noon. Now, the battery was flat on my Mini this morning, must be the damp, so I took his car. If he wanted an I'm out, the car's in the park. Here are the keys.
Right.
These tellies you rang me about?
Yes, and something else has cropped up, ma'am.
Right. First the tellies. What was the value?
Approximately £6,000. Mr. Logan's over at Hailston. He's coming across.
And what else?
The other bit of news is from just down the road. Old Daisy Herrick's disappeared.
Daisy?
Yes, ma'am.
How could she have disappeared?
A next-door neighbour, George Simmons, takes in a milk and yoghurt. He has a key. He went in at 8 this morning. She'd gone. He's phoned his sister over at Oakland. She's coming across.
Well, she wouldn't have gone far in a wheelchair.
That's the worry, ma'am. The wheelchair's still there, but not Daisy.
Well, then she must have gone off somewhere in a friend's car.
He reckons he would have heard any car arriving to pick her up, and none did. I've notified traffic and foot patrols, ma'am.
I hope she's not out in this cold.
Mr. Simmons reckons this sister should be at the house about now, ma'am.
Right, I'll pop down and see them in a minute. Hello.
Hello.
I'm from the local police station, Inspector Darby.
Oh, yes, Daisy's often talked of you. Come in, come in. I'm Elsie Arbon, Daisy's sister. Come through. And this is George Simmons from next door.
How do, lass? Call me George.
Please sit down. Would you like a cup of tea? I was just making one.
No, thank you.
But have you found her?
No, not yet, but we're going to, so please don't worry.
But where's she gone? I mean, without a wheelchair. She can only walk a few steps. She goes everywhere in a chair.
Well, the only explanation must be she either booked a taxi or was picked up in a car. We're checking all the local taxis.
Oh, it's a bit odder than that. Apart from the fact my hearing's perfect, I would have heard car draw up at door. Can I explain? I'm just through the wall there.
The Simmons are the greatest pals of our Daisy.
I do a lot of fetching and carrying for her, and my wife, she comes in and does a bit of housework. I tell you this because, well, my wife came in today like she does every day to make bed and wash up Daisy's dishes. But Daisy'd already washed them yesterday or this morning and cleaned kitchen up very carefully. Well, that must be the first time in years. And the bed was made.
I'll get you a cup of tea, George.
And there's another thing, lass. We all know Daisy didn't have money. She kept everything she had in caddy. My wife drew a pension for her and kept an eye on her funds. Well, Saturday morning, she had exactly £9.60 in caddy. And it's still there. So wherever she's gone, she's took no money.
That's important to know.
And there's another thing, lass. Well, I mean, she had a habit of it. Whenever she wanted something, she used to knock on the wall with a walking stick, and we'd come straight away. Well, she didn't knock or say she was going anywhere.
Did she ever go out with a friend who collected her in a car?
No, well, not recently anyway. And we know all her friends. And there's a bit more to worry on. I mean, this is important. I do think she's been out of sorts. Sort of different these last couple of weeks.
Different? In what way?
Well, she's been rambling on about her life and all that. A different kind of talk than what we usually get out of her.
Toast?
Aye.
I've never had it toasted here before.
Take it or leave it. I'm not trying to get into Egon Roan, eh? Special concession, that is.
What is?
You're getting a condemned man's breakfast.
What are you talking about, condemned man?
Oh, we know a lot more about you than you think.
What?
Well, you go round masquerading as a petty villain, when in fact you're the big brains.
What?
And now we've caught you red-handed on a job. No two ways about it. We're going to use that, this minor matter of the stolen tellies, to get you for the big one.
Stolen? I didn't know they were stolen. I didn't even know what they were.
The big one, Jack.
What big one?
Oh, come on, you know. The big one. We want to know your part in the big job in the city.
What are you talking about?
Not for me, the answering the questions, Jack. You, talking about the big one. The one that was in the papers. I suppose you'll say you was just the driver.
Almighty God, what are you on at?
What I'm on at, you know well.
Papers? I don't know. No job that got into papers.
You damn well do, and the sooner you start talking about it, the better. I mean, we've always soft-gloved you, Jack, but there is another side to us. We want you for the big one, and we're going to get you.
What big one?
I just told you, you're deaf in the city.
You mean the Liverpool job?
Of course, the Liverpool job. You were on that, and don't you dare deny it. And our CID can either stick you with a lot, which is what they plan, or you can tell us who else was involved. Was it the bloke with the fast heels this morning?
No, it weren't him. Here, how did you know about the Liverpool job?
We know everything, Jack. Our business is simply confirmation. We hear, we learn, or we get the rumours about the jobs and the villains. Our job then is to get confirmation. I'll be back when you've eaten. And you'll be using your mouth for another purpose.
You think it'd be simple enough to find out if that number of tellies had been stolen? Hey, there isn't anything for us with old Daisy, is there?
Very unlikely there's a motive for abduction.
I've chatted to her several times, you know. Always find her outside her front door in the summer, sitting in her wheelchair. Always a word for passers-by.
That's right.
The lake's on the telly, sir. 3 manufacturers, 9 main distributors. Definitely haven't been knocked off in the north. Now, one of the distributors reckons that some of the serial numbers sound like part of a batch for the West Country, so I've got his stock manager in Bristol ring me back on it.
All right, Bernie.
Could I have a quick word, Mum?
Yes, George.
Mr. Logan. Something very interesting's happened in the cells.
Yes?
Well, you know the old trick when you get the villain bang to right, saying it's the big job you're after.
So?
Well, on the spur of the moment, I said it to Jack. I said, we're interested in the big one, the one in the city, the one that got in the papers. I mean, I was just making it up. And suddenly he blurted out that he was on the Liverpool job.
Liverpool?
Yes, sir. I said he's going to have to talk about the big one, and straight out he mentioned Liverpool.
Well, should let take over, sir.
No, if he's talking to George, I think George should stay with it. Go and see if he's got anything else to say about Liverpool.
Right, sir. I've talked to the boss.
Who's that?
Chief Inspector Logan. Oh. I find him in a generous mood this morning.
Huh?
Don't think you've ever had a proper CID grilling. And he's prepared to give you a moment's breathing space. And you can avoid an all-out grilling, but you've got to come across, Jack.
Come across where?
Come across with information. Like you guessed, it's the Liverpool job we're after, and we're after you. So what are you going to tell me that stops you from copping the lot?
The lot?
The Liverpool job. We've got a result. We've got you for the court. Now, you can either carry it alone or you can name names.
But it weren't really me. I was just nothing on it.
You carry it alone or you name names.
They'll kill me.
Oh, they won't kill you, Jack. Do you know how many colleagues I have in the constabulary?
No.
120,000. Your firm are all big talkers, but we can deal with them. All big talkers, but all little men when it comes to the...
You can't call Jonesy a little man.
Jonesy?
Aye.
Which Jones? There's a dozen Jones. Which one do you call big?
Big Harry Jones.
Big Harry? All height, no brains. Oh, what was he on the Liverpool job? If you're saying you were just nothing, what do you mean you were just nothing?
I were just driver, like this morning.
Jones was driving, you mean?
No, I was. He was Brains, the governor.
Brains? What does he use for brains?
He knew the supermarket. He'd worked there.
Well, that's the first time I ever heard Harry Jones work. I don't believe it. Do you expect me to believe that?
He took the job so that he could find out when, at what time, the payroll arrived.
Oh, and that's how he found out about Tesco's payroll.
No, Tesco's Co-op. It will protect me from Jonesy and the rest of them, won't you?
I wanted to know about her health, her current physical condition.
Well, in the last 4 years, she's had 3 little strokes, 1 large one. She should be dead, but well, she has that resilience, will, determination of certain old people. I mean, who can explain how she survived a failing heart? She has.
But she's really confined to a wheelchair.
Well, I mean, I've seen her get out of the wheelchair and take a few steps, but she wouldn't have the physical reserve, for instance, to walk down to the bottom of the street.
So if she went anywhere, she must have been picked up in a car.
That's right. Does her sister know that Daisy's missing?
Oh, yes.
I mean, Elsie's old and frail, too. This will have come as quite a shock to her. Well, I've got about half an hour. I better pop down and see if there's anything I can do. Well, to help her cope with all this.
She's at Daisy's house at the moment. I'll give you a lift round there if you like.
Oh, thank you. Shan't be a moment.
What's this then, a calf?
One's for me. Have the other one if you want it. Well, there's a bit of pressure on.
What do you mean, pressure?
Pressure on you to come across. Mr. Logan doesn't believe you.
Huh?
He says Harry Jones wasn't on the Liverpool job, so it's still all down to you.
But he was.
Well, you better produce some more names out of the bag. So there was you. You was the driver. And there was Harry Jones. He was the boss, according to you.
Well, he was half the boss. He had the information. Eddie Lyons, he come in with the others.
But what others?
They'll kill me.
Eddie Lyons and who else?
Ron Taylor and Jack Gowran, that's a lot.
Damn, no teaspoon. I'll fetch one. Back in a minute. And then I'll want to talk about the other jobs you and this little cantata did in the rest of your spare time.
What other jobs?
You know what I'm talking about, Jack. And the talking's down to you. Ron Taylor, Jack Gower.
Eddie Lyons. I want everything on those 3, Bernie, and Harry Jones.
Like that.
Well, it might be an old trick, George, but it's working okay.
Where shall I go from here, sir?
I'll get back in there, get stuck in, see if there's anything else he wants to tell us.
I think so, sir.
George, you're doing famously.
Now, where were we?
I don't take sugar.
There was something about Daisy. I wonder whether you'd think it important. I last visited her about 3 weeks ago, and we had a conversation. Talking about the future.
Yeah.
Well, I just told her that she would start thinking perhaps about the possibility that at some time she might be so able to live alone. I mentioned St. Margaret's house. You know, out near Orme Hill. Very good health, the old folks.
Yes, I know it.
Yeah, but I'm afraid she took it rather badly. I mean, I wasn't very specific, just mentioned the possibility that she ought to start thinking about it for the future. But, as I say, she was most put out.
No sign, Mum. I've knocked on every door along East Short Street as far as Ainsley Road. Collis is heading up Ainsley Road just now.
Where are the others?
Spread about. It's getting cold, you know, Mum.
That's the worry, that she could be out in all this. Keep looking anyway.
I've covered Shawcross Street, ma'am, up to the Havering Road where she's been known to visit. Some others, up Ranley, Law Street. There's no sight nor sound of her, ma'am.
All the taxis have now been quizzed. Nothing.
I think the lads need a brew up to thaw out, ma'am.
Yes, OK. Meet me back at the station. We'll get properly organised. It's now down to searching front gardens and vacant lots. And then it's Frogman and dragging the canal.
Yes, ma'am.
My office in 20 minutes. I'm going to pay another visit to the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry. I'll get prescription attended to. I'll go to chemist.
Later, George. It's just for some of those funny pills, relaxifiers. I don't want pills. I just want Daisy.
Maybe that's news. Oh, hello, lass. Come in. Have you found her?
Not yet, Mr. Simmons. I wonder if I could have another word.
Ah, go on in.
No news?
Soon, I hope.
Yes,
Look, I wondered if Daisy had ever mentioned to either of you a conversation she had with Dr. Patel about the possibility at some future date of her going into the old people's home at Orme Hill.
What, was she to go into home? I didn't hear that.
Well, she never said.
No, it was mentioned only as a future possibility.
She wouldn't have liked that. Conservatory was alive. There aren't no conservatories in those places.
No, all she's been talking about these last few weeks, blethering on, well, you know Daisy, was the good old days. All about the war and pre-war. And I'm talking about First World War when she was a lass in Hartley. All the old recollections. And all fascinating because she's never really talked about them before.
I see. Well, think back and perhaps remember some old friend of hers who had a car and might have called.
But we have. There's no one.
Keep on thinking, just in case. How's it going, sir?
I think it's one for the memoirs, Jean. Or better still, Parish's. He's got Jack Lord in there singing like a whole Avery. We've got the 4 names of the firm on the Liverpool Co-op job. Annie Jones, Eddie Lyons, Ronald Taylor and Jack Gower. All of them big villains. He's getting info now on another job that Jones did, and all from nothing. Less than nothing.
Marvellous.
All the time we thought that Jack Lord was just a local nuisance. It turns out he's been driving for the big firms for years.
And you're going to leave George interrogating?
The result is getting, I wouldn't dream of disturbing him. Come and have a listen.
Being generous, Jack. You can't understand that, can you? That I'm prepared to be generous with you. But it's the pressure's on me. It's very difficult under continuous pressure to make these very precise distinctions.
Oh, what you're saying, I don't know what you're on now.
Well, you said you simply drove a van. Right, after Harry Jones and this Matt Tucker had pulled the job, they drove to you, parked in a back street, and then you drove them home, as it were.
As it was. That's as it was.
Well, you've got to convince me, Jack. Are you saying that's all you did on the second Tucker job? Where was it?
Millenhall.
Are you sure? There was no wages snatch in Millenhall.
I didn't say it were a wages snatch. It was another sub-post office job. Only I didn't know what the job was till after.
From Tucker and who else?
Macy was on that one.
Brian Macy?
Brian Macy. Now there's one we'd really like.
I'd like not to, sir, but I have to leave you.
See you later.
Tucker brought him in. We've done something together. Anyway.
Right. Let's tick off this list. Taxis are all checked. Car hire.
Yes, ma'am.
Ambulance service.
Yes, ma'am.
Hospitals.
Yes, ma'am.
Bus shelters.
Yes, ma'am.
Park.
Yes, ma'am.
Public library.
Yes, ma'am.
And all immediate neighbours.
Yes, ma'am, me and Arthur.
I've been down Farfield Street and Norton Lane, knocked on all doors. No sign of her, ma'am. I've got 4 men searching the area around the canal just in case.
How many more can we muster?
2 more immediately, ma'am.
Right. With Daisy Herrick's house in Fourfield Street as the centre of a quarter-square-mile block, put 2 into this centre block and then 1 to each of the 4 outer blocks, roughly bounded from here to here and Deer Park Road to Ranelagh Lane.
Right, ma'am.
Now then, this means a thorough search of all gardens, front and back, all waste ground, disused or unoccupied buildings, even unlikely ones. I'll leave you to sort out who goes where, Joseph.
Right, ma'am.
Now, come on, lads. We must find her.
OK, ma'am. Gallagher.
Sarge.
I need to take this rambling blade.
Jean?
Sir?
Apparently you've got 15 men looking for old Daisy.
I can't get my hands on any more at the moment.
Now, look, I've got this old fella in the cells. Now, he's in a bit of a state. I think we fit him at the exact moment of a mental breakdown. Now, I need some more men. I need people to go over to division, to check files, to get out on the street, to check some up-to-date addresses for some of these villains. Now, I need some of your 15.
I'm sorry, sir. You've got Jack Lord safely in the cells he'll keep. Daisy might be out somewhere in this cold, and if she is, we have to find her before she dies.
Thank you, Jean.
Sir, you started talking about Alf Harrison.
Harrison?
I'm afraid I have to keep coming back to you, Mr. Simmons.
Oh, don't apologise, lass. You're more than welcome here. We're all trying for the same thing, find Daisy.
How's Elsie?
Oh, I did convince her to take one at Doctor's Relaxifiers. She's in bed upstairs. I mean, this is taking a lot out of her. We're none of us young. I've sent a message to tell her husband she'll be here for a while.
It's good she's getting some rest. I came to ask you, Mr. Simmons, if you happen to know if Daisy ever lived in any other house in Hartley.
Don't you know it, lass? She's been in this house all her life. And she's been talking about that lately, too. You know, about growing up here and her younger days and her mother widowed. And then the one boyfriend in her life, when she was 16. Merchant sailor he was, name of Albert. One great passion. It only lasted 6 months, and then his ship was sunk by the Germans. That's what's been full in her mind for the last few weeks.
I see.
Oh, and I was just going to go down road to phone you. I've noticed something else a touch odd.
Oh, yeah?
The plants. Daisy's plants. Well, she loved them and talked to them, but, well, I always water the top ones. Some of them are a bit awkward to get at.
Yeah?
Once a week, like it would be today or tomorrow for watering. But I noticed they're all of them, nicely wet. So she must have soaked them yesterday. And that's first time in years.
So she did two things unusual. She watered her plants and she washed her dishes.
And then went.
Almost as if she was making sure everything was right because she was going away.
I'm afraid it looks like it.
And she left her wheelchair, and there were no signs of a car arriving, so she's probably local. Try to think, Mr. Simmons, of anything she said lately about any place in the vicinity.
Aye, lass, I will do.
And all we can do is get on with looking for her.
I hope you don't mind us being in here, Jean. The CID room has 6 rather large sergeants in it.
You got enough men?
No, but we'll struggle on. There's been a development with Jack Lord.
Oh, yeah?
Parish got him to the point where he started talking about a sub-post office job. Millenhall. £18,000, 3rd of July last year. Well, Lord has tucked up 3 more names with the job, all known. Tucker, Macy, Alf Harrison.
That's quite a team.
Yes, but one of them isn't on. Alf Harrison was in Parkhurst on the 3rd of July. He wasn't released until September last.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Any chance he's completely having you on?
No, I don't think so. It's clear that he has driven for the gangs, and I think he was on the Liverpool job and the other jobs. He's given us lots of details on those. No, I think it's more a question of the reliability of his memory, that's all. It'd better be.
Otherwise, it's a few red faces.
We don't really need remarks like that, Jean.
Then I'll clear out of your way before I make any more. I'm just taking a quick lunch at home. I'll be back in half an hour.
Have a nice lunch, Jean.
Half an hour. Nothing elaborate, Tom. I've got to get back on this search.
Just omelette au jambon, dear.
Why don't you call it what it is? Ham and eggs.
You've no class, Jean. I mean, you're a personable enough lass. Bright, clever even. But just no class.
How was Hull?
Well, you know what they say about Hull. Where's Daisy Eric?
I don't know, and I'm worried.
She told me this wonderful story, Daisy, about Joe Pig.
Who's Joe Pig?
Well, that was the name of her Coleman when she was a little girl. They called him Joe Pig because he put his pig on the wall to watch the May Queen procession go by, because he thought it was missing something, you see. Anyway, Joe Pig had this awesome cart to deliver his coal. And apparently he used to beat this poor old horse to make it go up Bert's Brew. One day he was beating it as usual. Suddenly, halfway up the hill, he dropped down dead. He turned to Daisy and he said, "Well, I've never seen you do that before." Mind you, the place is small as Hartley. I don't see how you can lose an old woman who can't even walk.
We're doing everything we can. And I have enough men out there. She's been talking about her past life and her one affair during the First World War with Albert, the merchant seaman.
It's a bit like me Auntie Delia.
Hmm?
Well, last year of her life, her mind suddenly went back 60 years. Not a word about her second husband. She'd been married to him for 40 years. He was waiting on her hand and foot. It was all about Harold. He'd been killed in France in 1915. He'd only been married for 6 months. Suddenly it was Harold this, Harold that. Never mentioned him in 40 years. Suddenly, total recall, total living in the past.
It must be her past. It's something to do with her past. Some place she shared with Albert in the past.
Are you arguing with me?
I'm not.
Well, it seems like it. I'm trying to tell you the truth.
I appreciate it.
Relieve my mind. I mean, now that you've got me cornered, I'll give you a lot.
Well, that's good, Jack. Get it off your mind.
I mean, I know you lot have always treated me with contempt. Jack Lord, nobody. Biggest crime, stealing sweets from a baby, right?
Not me.
Well, I wasn't that, see. I was big time. I drove for all the firms. I've known them all, and they've known me. I've known all the big villains, George. Over the years, I've fooled a lot of you.
Well, we're just a little worried you're fooling us over this £18,000 Millenhall sub-post office job.
All right. So I was wrong about Alf Harrison. It weren't him.
Who was it then?
McArdle.
McArdle?
John McArdle. The one that did the Wilburley sub-post office job.
How'd you spell his name, this chap who did the Wilburley sub-post office?
Right, let's talk about this. Jack Lord, 31 convictions over 38 years. Caught rowing with the just-named Peter Howard Wilson, 6:20 a.m., truck full of stolen tellies. Now, Wilson makes off, but when we catch him, he is unlikely to corroborate Lord's role of innocent van driver. And if he does, it's clear, and we're all agreed on this, that for a period spanning 9 years, unbeknownst to us, Jack Lord has been driving for various firms. Some minor villains like himself, but also for some very important thieves. Driving anything from getaway cars to stolen goods, etc.
No question.
Now then, since he's been talking to George, he has mentioned 19 names and connected them with various crimes which are still on the files. Now, these names seem to fit, with so far one discrepancy, which he has admitted. Well, I think we're going to have to bring in a task force now to put this together and pull these people in. But before we do that, has he said his whole piece, all of it?
I think so, sir. He says no more, and he seems totally exhausted.
Well, I think we should assume there is more and continue to question him.
Well, I'm inclined to agree with you, Bernie, but what we've got here is a cooperative informant. And we need his continuing cooperation if we're going to make any or all of these charges stick. Now, there's a real chance that if we press him, he's going to turn sour on us. Well, I think we'll take a rest and think about it for an hour. Anyhow, the bottom line on this, George, is that you have done an amazing job.
Is Elsie still resting?
Her doctor's pills have still got her asleep. I think it best not to disturb her unless you've got news.
Not yet.
She hates pruning, Daisy. Says it hurts the flowers. It don't, of course. It aids them. So while she's temporarily absent, I'll just do a few of these quickly.
Mr. Simmons, you mentioned certain conversations you'd had with Daisy.
Oh, aye.
About her life as a girl. You mentioned she talked about an Albert.
The old flame, aye, the one and only.
A couple of times you said that. The one and only.
Well, it weren't no permissive society in those days, lass. You had to really love someone to take the risks.
Did she ever give you details about where Albert lived, or where they visited together? Did they ever go anywhere together?
Have you never heard of chaperoning? It were a fine art in those days. Daisy had a very strict mother, and mothers in those days were armed with rolling pins and tongues that cut like saws. If you were having an affair, my God, you had to keep it a deadly secret. You couldn't even tell your best pals.
But how did they meet? I mean, did they get together, alone?
Aye, they did, there's no doubt about that. That was the one love of her life.
But how, if she was chaperoned everywhere?
Chaperoning was a daylight pursuit. There was many a lass in Hartley waited till town hall clock struck 2 and then out of bed, into her clothes and out at window, and off you know where.
No, I don't know where.
To Lover's Lane, lass.
And where was that?
Ah, well, that depends. Daisy still gives me a wink when she mentions her Lover's Lane. A wink and a smile for a memory that's 60 years gone.
Mr. Simmons, where is Daisy's Lover's Lane? Where in Hartley did they go?
Well, it's very simple, lass. You go straight out at front door, straight across the road past garages and up top Fell. It's the flat bit at the top of the hill.
Thank you, Mr. Simmons. Inspector Derby to Hartley.
Hartley.
Is Sergeant Beck there?
Yes, ma'am, he's here.
I'm outside Daisy Heddick's house. Ask him to join me as soon as possible, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Joseph, we're going up top Fell.
What for, man?
We're going to check up there, along the ridge. Daisy Heddick might have gone there.
That's impossible.
Right. You'll need your wellies. Right. Joseph.
She's gone, yes?
Yes.
How did she manage it to get up here?
Hello, Jean. Hey, I was really sorry to hear about old Daisy. It was exposure, was it?
Yes, sir.
I'd heard she couldn't walk 5 yards, and yet she made it all the way up top fell. It's amazing. Well, I must be getting back to DHQ. Organise some more troops to deal with the revelations of Hartley's super grass. Mountains of paperwork followed, hopefully, by lots of arrests. See you anon.
Yes, sir.
Good night, George. Good day's work.
Still here?
Yes, Mum. Just been writing up my notes for CID.
You did well today, George.
Thank you, Mum. You off as well?
Yes, I'm going home. But I shall stop by and see Daisy's sister and the neighbour.
How did she take it?
Badly.
Sorry about old Daisy, Mum.
Yes, a lot of people will be sorry to have lost Daisy.
Yes, Mum. Everyone who ever knew her. See you tomorrow, Mum.
Yes, George, tomorrow.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the Bill.